And I just realised I didn't do any my intro videos or anything like that. I don't even think I have it on here. Oh well, g'day everybody. Nacho here for a stream, which I never really do these days because I can't rely on my computer. But we're going to give it a go anyway because it's Christmas. And I don't do Christmas. So here I am enjoying it with you guys. We have Ring and we have Jen. Say hello, my peeps.
Hey.
And Jen is muted.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Yee. So let us know if the audio is all good. I haven't played with this for a while, so if something's not working right, then that's definitely my fault. And if y'all want a link, let us know. I'm sure I can organise a link for you, or just message me on Twitter. Because it is open for anyone, almost. There's a few exceptions, like I don't want any dickheads in here, but
It's like, open for anyone, asterisk.
Yeah, it's at my discretion still.
Yeah.
Go kiss my asterisk.
Yeah. So, being that I don't, often do Christmassy things, I was wondering if you guys had any specific Christmas stories you wanted to talk about, like something eventful, whether it be good or bad, or just memorable.
Oh, jeez.
That's a tough one to be put on the spot for, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe like
I have a bad one. I don't want a bad one to be the first one we do. I'll bring it up later when everybody's, more maudlin.
All right. What about an interesting present, like or like a really good present, something that was right on the money for what you wanted.
I think that maybe the most memorable Christmas present I remember, that really wasn't my present, but it was, both for me and my older brother, was the year that we got a train set. We had no idea it was coming. We just got it. And it was just the coolest damn thing, little electric train and setting it up and running it around and starting the carpet on fire from the sparks and all that kind of stuff. It was neat. I was probably 7 years old, 8 years old.
That is awesome. Hey, nerd.
And yep, I'll never forget it.
Hey,
That is
how you
pretty
going?
cool.
Yeah.
Not too badly. Yeah, Ring?
Probably at least that comes to mind right now is last Christmas my wife got me one of those 3D pens, and unfortunately I haven't really had a chance to mess around with it that much, but that's definitely in the top for me.
Nice. All right, we've also got Dave.
Dave, hello. It's good to
You can actually
finally.
hear me.
It's good to finally.
I've never
meet
actually
you.
been on a stream with you.
Yeah.
This is my first time seeing you, Dave.
Yeah, I've never been. No, I haven't. No, I've not been on a stream with half of you.
Yeah. No, it's good to finally meet you. You're friggin' awesome.
I'm
You
looking
really
very fluffy.
Hey, and Nacho, I haven't ruined your record either. I am an atheist also. I just don't broadcast it.
Oh.
Fair enough. Where were we? So we were like memorable either Christmases or presents, be it good or bad. Either you, Novadia, or Dave have any stories like that in your past?
Oh, we've got an annoying one my dad did last Christmas. He boxed up the dog.
He boxed up the dog.
We'd already had the dog for about 4 months. He paid for it. So he sneaked in on Christmas morning and took the dog downstairs and shoved it in a box and brought it back up.
Dude, I hope it wasn't in there long.
No.
Yeah, no.
Can I say a Christmas present that I actually gave? So,
Yeah.
okay. So, has anyone heard of the the book The Golden Ass by, I think it's Lucius Apuleius or something like that. It's very old, obviously. It's a couple of thousand years old. Anyway, a friend of mine, massive fan of this story because it talks about like the worship of Isis, like the Egyptian god, obviously. And anyway, I looked all over the internet for this for ages. Like it took me a good couple of weeks to try and find an illustrated version of the Golden Ass. And I finally found it, and I ordered it from Ireland, and that was one of the coldest years in Irish history. Like it was so cold that even their water pipes all frozen, and the whole country went into shutdown. And I think, Dave, you might even remember this. This was probably about 10 years ago or something.
Go on. In the UK?
In Ireland. In Ireland, it was like...
Yes.
Very, very cold. Anyway, the whole country went into shutdown, and I was like, okay, I've ordered it, dude. It's coming. It's coming. And anyway, when he got it, it was like an 80-year-old book, and it cost me about $100. It was an 80-year-old book of an illustrated version of The Golden Ass, and it was also apparently a very rare translation, like a translation he had been looking for ages. And it was just probably one of the best gifts I had ever given anyone, because just the look on his face when he just saw it, he was just like it was good. It was a really special book.
That's pretty
special
cool.
story. Jen, did you
All
get
right.
anything?
Jen, you've got a bad story for us. I'm still curious to hear that story. We've been talking enough. We've been talking for long enough now.
Jen?
We may
lost her.
have lost Jen. Oh, well, she'll come back.
What about you, Nacho? Have you had any good
When did you
presents?
first celebrate Christmas?
Technically last year, and I did the same thing I'm doing this year, which is jumping online and having some fun with friends.
You have friends?
When are they coming?
Yeah, screw you all. That's it. I'm booting every one of you.
Oh, and I brought cheesecake.
Did you end
Oh,
up eating
God.
the last of the cheesecake?
No, I think that last slice is still there.
Okay, that's all right. It needs to be eaten today.
Yeah, I figured it's probably about that time. It'll get eaten.
2
Don't worry.
seconds.
I know.
Hello? I don't even know how to say that name.
Oh,
Kistra?
Jen.
Hello, Jen, are you back?
Yep, I'm back.
Hey.
That's my
Cool.
daughter.
Okay, or hey,
Doesn't-
Christy.
Doesn't your snake eat
Greetings, sentient
cheesecake?
beings.
G'day,
Oh,
Perps.
Peppo!
How you doing,
Hello.
buddy? How you doing, Perps? Did we lose you already, Perps?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Although I think I'm causing an echo here. I gotta.
Okay. Oh, you're right.
There.
Sort yourself
Okay. That should fix it.
out. How you doing, mate?
Doing okay.
That's the way.
I've been, just with getting all this organized, I've had, more messages coming through on Twitter in the last 3 days than I've had all year.
That'll happen. This is why I had no intention on organizing anything for this, because I was like, I know what that's like.
Yeah, it definitely turned out to be a much bigger project than I expected, but, Pirate Kitty really took over, and
Oh, that's cool. It's always good when you get a bit of help with it as well. Hey, Chill, hey, Morton, and Doorknob. Good to see you. So, Purple, you're here now. Do you have any interesting Christmas story or like presents that were memorable or anything like that you wanted to share?
Actually, my most memorable one's a bit of a long one, and one that some people might find kind of strange because it seems kind of sad, but it's something that had a huge emotional impact in a lot of ways.
Sounds like an interesting story. Hit us with
Well,
it.
at the time, it was Sloth Girl and her husband and their daughter, who was about 3, and me were all living in a 1-bedroom apartment because we each only had part-time jobs. So between the 3 of us, that was all we could afford.
Yeah.
And I mean, really scraping by. I was going out behind the co-op after they closed to pick up the stuff that they had discarded as being unsellable. And a lot of nights it was, trying to cut off the moldy bits and, make sure Sloth Girl and her kid had enough to eat. And after everybody went to bed, I was sometimes faced with either eating something that looked like it would make me sick or not eating at all that day. But one of their friends gave us a Christmas tree, and we wound up walking down to the beach to get a bucket of sand to stand the tree up in. And I cut up one of my flannel shirts and sewed it into a teddy bear just to make sure the kid would have at least one new toy for Christmas. And we were like just on the edge of being homeless there.
Damn.
But we never found out who it was, but somebody gave our names to a local charity, and a volunteer showed up with a ham and a box of presents, gloves and hats for everyone. And just, that we were that far down, but, somebody had the thought to just do the anonymous donation, and to this day, we've got no idea who it was.
That's so sweet, though. Like, obviously somebody seen and was looking out for you. We have a whirly. How you doing, Dave?
You're muted. Dave, you're muted.
Still muted, my buddy.
You're muted, Dave.
Hello.
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 Good evening, kind sir.
I was calling wankers. Hello.
Oh,
yes,
we missed all the loveliness. Damn.
Yeah, no, I was only saying that it was 13 past midnight in the UK.
Oh,
So
happy
just
Christmas.
so-
It's Christmas
Yeah.
now, isn't it, for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, Merry Christmas. Did Santa come? Did you catch him in the act? Is that why you stayed up so late? I want all the answers.
Not yet.
Oh,
Not yet.
bastard.
This isn't even late. Come on, albeit he's normally here about 4:30.
Oh, okay. Shit.
You caught him?
Screw staying up for that.
Oh, David. John emailed me
Yes.
back and got my name wrong.
Yay! Brilliant. That reminds me, I've got to put a clip on Twitter because I was going to give everyone. It was meant to be. I'm trying to put a video together right now, but I'm probably not going to get to actually release it anytime today. So that'll be ready at some point. But I can put a clip up because I've done that much. So yeah.
Yeah, I just thought you'd find that. I thought you'd find that funny, where he was like, can't even spell the name
Yeah.
correctly.
Do people? Sorry to just sort of jump in. Does everyone understand what Navadi's going on about?
Me, no. No idea.
I know the answer's no normally. Just generally, don't know what she's.
Yeah, I just speak another language.
Yeah, she's referring to John, who's the co-organizer with Lance, and Lance was the person I interviewed. So he got fired by John.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So NotJah wants to interview John, which would be a good idea. Is that actually happening then?
I don't know. I haven't checked my email since yesterday.
Do we know what John thought of his interview with Shannon?
I don't know. I will definitely ask that question if he ends up ending up on my channel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Pirate Kitty.
Hey, kitty.
Hello.
Meow, meow, meow.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Meow. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
My father decided to let me on the computer earlier.
Oh, he's so nice.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've got the two new people. I have to continue asking. So we'll start with Whirly. Have you got any memorable Christmas or Christmas presents, either for good or bad reasons, and that you'd like to share?
You're muted.
Presents? No.
Presents or events?
Events, yeah. I accidentally jumped in a river.
You accidentally jumped in a river.
How did
Did
you
you not see the river
jump?
there? Like, how? Yeah, like, what?
In my defence, because it's Christmas and it's fairly late and it's all dark, I was playing Pokemon Go, and I ended up going back to this place. I thought I'd try and find this place that I'd heard of, sort of local to me. It's just like this place that you could just walk around. It's a pretty cool place, but I decided, right, I'll go back there later that night to try and find various Pokemons, and I really wanted like one that was over there somewhere. So I tried to get over there, maneuver my way around. Bearing in mind this was like close to freezing point and dark and horrible at this point, but it was just like really exciting because Pokemon Go had just come out, kind of thing. And I just remember very naively just looking at this very flat bit, and I thought, I could probably make it over there. So I just thought it was like a flat, but it's obviously just. I now know it's water, but I just couldn't reach like the next bit. So I jumped and I went fully submerged, everything in.
How was your phone?
No. Yeah, that was what I was thinking too.
Phone's fine. It was.
thank God.
Oh no, it's not actually this one because this one's new. But I had my phone for like 4 days, and I just went straight in.
And you jumped in
a brand new iPhone, so it was fine. It was fine though. I think that was the first model that was waterproof, quote unquote. So
well, that's always good.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Give that a real test.
That's the story.
All right, and
I just wanted to test it.
Pirate Kitty, have you got any interesting events or presents or any stories like that about Christmas that you'd like to share?
Well, like, I guess it was a similar one to what Purple was saying when I connected to the stream about the charity people showing up. They brought us a whole bunch of stuff, and this thing that they brought me was this what's called a Hug-a-Bunch doll. And it's basically Hug-a-Bunch. It was basically this, like, how do I describe it without giving away the end of the story? I can't. It looked like a Chucky doll.
Ooh.
But it was before Chucky. So it wasn't quite that bad, but it was brought the same size as a Chucky. But it was plush and it was pretty cool. And I liked it, but this was before the Chucky movies. And then like 6 months later the Chucky movies came out. And I had loved this doll, but I decapitated it because of the Chucky movies. we had this wooden hope chest that my mother and father kept at the edge of the bed, and I watched the Chucky movie, and that doll started to freak me out. So one day when nobody was home, I took that hope chest and I opened it up and I set that doll's neck right on the rim, and until I decapitated the doll. And then my parents came home and were like, "What happened to the doll?" I'm like, "I don't know."
I had a friend who made a replica of a Chucky head to be the star on the top of their Christmas tree.
Osman, are you around? Are you working?
Can you hear me?
All things are up and running. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Dude.
Hey. I just got my head through my entire computer, building it back up.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Wow,
Can you see that?
Oh God, turn it off. Stop it.
Whoa, kill it.
That's a Hug-a-Bunch doll.
Kill it.
Kill it with fire.
That's
No, I just
literally my
decapitated
thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, decapitating it is not enough.
Yeah. Pour acid all over it and then set it on fire after that. Preferably not in a metal bucket because that'll produce hydrogen and it'll all go kaboom. Or do that.
Do they?
Actually.
And there would be no trace. And then there would be no traces of it left.
No.
No, but that's not even the worst. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, you mentioned about the tree topper with the last set of girls I raised. This was about 2005.
What, you decapitated them and put it on top of them?
No, this is a cute one. Just that when we went to put up the Christmas tree, my girlfriend's middle girl insisted that my Triceratops nightlight had to be the tree topper.
Did it look good?
It was kind of hard to get the thing to stay up there because it's rather heavy for it. But
Speaking of odd tree toppers, I had an ex-boyfriend that loved to buy wacky gifts for his family. One year, he purchased a Tuggy for his stepbrother and stepfather, and I'll let you all Google what a Tuggy is. I'm not putting that in. The year after,
I bet it's a Fifi.
no. Let me see.
What? Did I kill the chat?
No, actually, I had a question for you, Osman. Seeing as
What's
you're
up?
here now, I wanted to ask you what I've been asking everyone else, which is, have you had any specific
Oh, dear
Christmas
God.
memory or... Oh, God.
Jeez, what the hell
Where
was
is-
that?
Where is this guy? I might have to turn off the ability to share your screens.
Demonetize.
Instantly demonetized.
My eyes are
Hey, you
burning.
don't see anything at all.
Well, that's why I said
Um,
you should Google it yourself.
So
I didn't want that on my search history, to be honest with you. I've got
And-
enough weird ass shit.
Hang on a sec. I've got the perfect sound for it. I just got to set it up. So
Oh,
keep
God.
talking about yourselves.
Well,
What was that?
I actually want to ask you, Osman, you're either a good or a bad memory or occasion or present related to Christmas, if you wanted to share it with us.
Well, my early present was a new motherboard because my old one was dying. As we all know, my motherboard was having a big issue and I couldn't produce properly.
I know the feeling.
Yes. Speaking of which, excellent opportunity to plug the
We'll let Osman.
Go
yeah,
fund me.
but then yeah.
But yeah, my mother bought me the motherboard of all people, and I didn't expect
Wow.
that. So
Hmm.
I've been showering her with love and praise and thanks.
Well,
That
so
is
you
pretty
should.
cool. Yeah.
Did you
Merry
just
Christmas to
scold
you
me?
as well, Mando.
I did. Of course, I
And
scolded you.
Christy.
You're lucky you're not where I am. I'd be
There's-
taking away all of your cheesecake privileges.
No, no.
It's pretty cool. Tornado's like his earliest Christmas memory was getting a whole bunch of fireworks. So that's something we can't get here. So I'm very jealous of that. That would
Yeah,
be
that's
awesome.
pretty cool.
What?
You can't
like
get
5
fireworks
years
in
old?
Australia?
You have to be all
if you
licensed
live
and.
in Canberra, I think. Can't
Oh,
you?
has Canberra got them legal? I didn't know.
I think
that.
so. Well,
Okay.
I used to live in Canberra, and I remember we had fireworks on Guy Fawkes
okay.
Day.
Oh yeah, we get public fireworks, but we as people can't have fireworks.
You could
You
in
have to license yourself up and do it for some, have it all
Could-
done as a production.
you could
You
in
can't just-
when I was
If you
growing up.
if you can't get them as people, could you just tell them you're a dog or something?
Yeah.
Well, see, it's tough to be a god. Yeah, but Nacho is a
Oh no, I want to get that song stuck in my head. That's a good song.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I
was
had to
gonna
do.
say,
I had to get
I,
that movie so I could bring it over.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic.
Hell yeah.
So was the rest of the cheesecake nice, Mary?
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, the fireworks have gotten a lot easier to get around here. But, like 10, 15 years ago, it's like they were only available around 4th of July and you couldn't find them any other time. So I would stock up on them when they went on clearance after 4th of July, and I'd be shooting them off in the driveway for New Year's. Tended to freak out the neighbors because they weren't expecting them 6 months later.
Good day, Shadow Kitty and Blue.
Pirate Kitty, can you do me a favor and throw out that huggable again, please?
No, please no.
No. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Hopefully I've got it all set up and it'll work.
Please
What
no.
are you doing?
You're all going to like this.
Yeah.
So he says now.
So, yeah.
Pirate Kitty?
Can I do a bit
Yeah,
of...
sorry. I forgot I wasn't unmuted, so I wasn't talking. There you go.
Jeez.
Can you take... No! Take it off!
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I do a bit of a plug for NotJah? So I don't know if anybody actually on his channel actually knows this. I've got a PayPal pool to help him get some more stuff for his computer because his computer's effectively dead. So I've just put
gotta
in,
go by. Sorry.
So I've just put in the link in this chat to try and raise about $2,000 to get him at least some stuff to upgrade so his computer just doesn't die every 25 seconds. So, yeah.
Honest question, Mary.
Mhm.
Are you hungover?
No.
Because you look hungover.
No,
Yeah, you
it's
do.
my hair's...
Wow.
Thanks,
Wow.
Jen. Fuck you, too.
Damn.
Fuck you, Jen.
Damn.
So many fucks towards you.
But Jen, actually,
No.
now,
I just thought she was hot and sweaty, and it was kind of a turn on for me.
Nice.
oh yeah, I have to work out what to call each Jen now. There's two Jens. Jen, little Jen.
Jen's
Jen Little. No, Jen's Little Corner.
Or- Corner Jen.
Little bit.
Up against
Jen
the
on the
corner,
block.
Jen.
A little bitch, that works.
You can call me
Countertop
Jenny and her Jen. I've given up the name Jen, so you can call her
Okay,
Jen.
so Jenny.
Don't we
and
usually
Jenny.
We'll try that.
and me, whatever.
I couldn't compete with her, so I gave it up.
Aww.
That's not true, Jen. That's not true at all.
I'd call you Nonna.
Well,
Granny.
Jen, I have to finish with that. Like, we've got new person, so I want to know your story, some sort of Christmas story or present or something that's memorable or eventful, either good or bad.
What? Sorry, not.
What?
Please repeat.
What?
Please repeat.
Just give us some a memory or event that was like Christmas related that that stands out to you. That was could have been a present, something to do with a present, or it could have just been something that happened at a Christmas party. Just some story that you'd be willing to share.
How about the Christmas that I ruined?
That
What?
sounds fun.
Oh.
I'll get my
Okay,
popcorn.
I got my coffee.
Damn it, I just drank my coffee.
A lot of you, at least most of you, know that I'm a brass instrument player. So I learnt trombone as a kid, and when you start learning through high school and stuff like that, you usually have a rental instrument that's rented from the school, and I just wanted my own. So my parents bought me one as a Christmas present, but I found it like 6 months before Christmas. And I didn't tell them because I realized that it was a present and they were going to give it to me. So it came to Christmas Day and I did the whole surprise thing. And they were so amazed at, how happy I was to get my own trombone. And then I told them that I knew.
Why did you tell
So I
them?
went to all the effort to fake the surprise and everything and then told them.
Oh.
Christmas Day in front of the entire family that I already knew.
Oh,
Were you intending to
bitch.
the disappointment on my mum's face. You know, it wasn't worth it. But I couldn't keep lying about it. It was just so much effort. Even though I'd done it so well, it was like I can't lie. I knew.
Were you happy to get it anyway?
I was ecstatic about it.
Scold him, Mayor.
No, there was no lie there, in that sense. I was really happy. It was. They couldn't have given me anything better for that Christmas, but they were so disappointed when they found out that I already know.
Tut.
Scolder.
Scolding.
The worst part was I wasn't looking for Christmas presents when I found it. I went to get something else, and where they'd hidden it was where
they should have wrapped it up or something.
Sorry.
Stored, and I knew exactly what it was as soon as I saw it, and it had to be for me. Crap.
Let's not have that mistake happen again, Osman. That was loud. I don't know. Most of you don't have headphones on, I see, but I do. That was loud. 2 a.m., Robert. Goodness me.
I could tell you the story about how I cut my thumb off during that. Oh no, that was Thanksgiving. Never mind.
You're about having two gens. You've got 3 Daves.
Yeah, but I don't think I call any of them Dave though. Like the only person I even kind of call Dave is Grumpy, and then I call him Grumpy. So.
It's pretty easy with me and Jen because I'm mostly through my family an auntie, so most people just call me auntie. And Jen's often called Granny, so you got auntie.
That works. I'll have to get used to that. That's what I'll. But then it'll be forever, you know. Like that'll now just be what you're called.
Yeah, so many people call me auntie.
You'll end up changing your Twitter tags to it, you know.
I leave the Jen out and just have aunties in the little corner.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I'd done that. It would have been really cool.
And I get Granny because I'm so much older. Is that the deal?
Yeah, because you get it to yourself. You started calling yourself Granny.
Oh well, that's true. But only because others did.
I'm calling it Nana.
Nana.
Yeah.
Pointing stage. Merry Christmas and all that jizz.
What, Christmas jizz? What did I miss?
Well, Christmas jizz is probably the best kind of jizz, isn't it?
I'm trying really hard not to make the joke that's popped into my mind right now.
Have to make it now.
Come on. You've got to tell us now.
Are you sure, Nacho?
No, I'm not sure, actually, but...
There you are.
I'll tell you if I'm sure
you can let your imaginations go wild when I just ask Nacho if he really wants me to make the jizz joke.
Has it got something to do with cheesecake?
No.
Although that does give me a good idea for a cheesecake.
Oh, it's a jizz cake.
I don't think anyone wants that kind of frosting.
Okay, no, NotJah, no.
Damn.
No, make it a secret filling.
This is what he's going to do to the next cake he leaves in your fridge.
Amanda, Christmas and jizz jokes go hand in hand. You sly dog, you sly dog.
I'm not
Top quality.
I should probably do that.
Hey, Danish.
Hey.
There's a specific pudding that desires a lot of frosting. I'm just saying.
I'm curious, which?
Curious?
Okay, I'm going to attempt to change the conversation.
Good luck.
Let's just talk over it. So,
go for it, Whirly.
Serious question, right? So, if you're on the good list and the bad list for Santa, and you turn out to, let's say you're on the good list, and you end up getting your presents and you wake up in the morning, when does the next list start? Because when they say, have you been a good boy or girl this year, does that start January 1st?
I thought it was 3 weeks
You've
before Christmas.
You've got a week. now.
I thought
of,
that was
like,
a 24-hour
it doesn't
exclusion
matter.
zone.
It's the
Yeah,
same
is it like
Christian moral arguments, isn't it? Yeah, just because Santa's watching you doesn't mean not watching you doesn't mean you still shouldn't be good. If
Well,
you're
but
actually-
Santa knows that everybody's going to fight. Like,
Santa's watching them, it's the same thing as it is with God, isn't it?
Well, they do pitch Santa to be a bit like God. You know,
They do.
so that would make sense that he'd still be
And,
watching 24/7.
You know, and he's in the red suit, so is Santa Lucifer?
Well,
There are-
if you're
there are
dyslexic, then
denominations
Santa
that believe
definitely
that.
is Satan.
And in that case, Santa's the good guy.
Yes.
Unless it's Robo
The
Santa.
good guy, because God's an evil prick.
Yeah, but Santa's also
Until
a
he
little
merges
bit,
with Krampus.
Santa's a bit, you know, pedophilic though.
He's not watching
So
you
is-
all the time.
So
I mean,
is
God
God,
is
isn't
watching every single kid
But
doing
so,
whatever
so,
they do at whatever age they start doing it.
yeah, but so does Santa.
Well, I mean, and then you got, you know, Futurama Robo Santa who goes all, you know, Old Testament on everyone with
he?
and shit.
Oh God. I don't think I've seen that one.
I always hated it when our church had its usual December homosexual burning. It was just so gruesome.
Santa doesn't
What?
have the same sort of Santa's just about you have to be nice.
Oh, has that goat been burnt down
Very
yet?
broad definition of nice you can apply there. So
But wouldn't you have to be more than nice to get on a good list? Like, you can be nice to people, but still do bad things.
yeah, but Santa talks about people being naughty and nice, doesn't he? So
Well, and sometimes it's, you know, sometimes being naughty can be nice.
that's right.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
if you're
we're-
putting somebody out of their misery, are you being naughty or nice?
Well, there is an old Christmas song that I used to sing as a child. He knows when you're sleeping and he knows when you're awake.
Hmm.
So he does watch
That's
you all the
pretty
time.
creepy. Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm hyper with go-go bean juice.
Cocoa bean.
Did you see that DM I sent you, Osman?
No, not yet, but I will now.
Yeah. He used go-go bean juice on me last night, and I'm like, what? And then he told me what it is, and I'm like, I'm gonna ask my dad that question in the morning. So I was like, have you made any go-go bean juice this morning? And he looked at me funny.
So, did any of
Do I
these
wanna know what
actually,
this
as
is?
kids?
Coffee.
I got a question. Does any of you as kids actually do the whole thing where you try and stay up all night to catch Santa?
I set traps. I laid out detailed traps.
What?
Across the room with oh yeah. I was out to get it.
Wow, that's awesome.
You went home alone on him.
I never laid traps.
It's going all
You
out.
gotta come
Yeah.
here.
I
Tasty, you
don't
laid-
remember trying to do the
No,
stay.
you laid traps for Santa.
This is another Jen.
Hello,
So-
other Jen.
Do another Jen.
Yeah, this is the Jen that repeatedly gets genocided.
What?
So,
Rude.
you know, now that we're talking about memories, and that my brain's, you know, actually working now.
What? It's working?
When did that happen?
Good question.
If you'd like, I could tell you about the most expensive pizza I've ever eaten.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Please do. That sounds like a Christmas story.
Okay, yeah. It was while I was deployed to Afghanistan, right? And the office decided to, you know, throw a pizza party for Christmas, you know, to, you know, do a morale boost, right? Well, there was a standing order on base that if you were outside of a building at, you know, at nighttime, you had to, wear the full, like the bulletproof vest and the helmet and such. So the people who are running to get the kind of cruddy Pizza Hut pizza because our base had a Pizza Hut, figured, we don't have to, we're the truck counts as inside, so we won't have, we'll just, go out to the truck, drive it, and then go into the Pizza Hut. We won't technically really be outside. Thing is, they got caught. And both ended up getting docked pay, and both ended up losing rank over it. So, in a sense, they didn't, they, hadn't paid off that pizza for like 6 months, making it the most expensive pizza I've ever eaten.
Jeez.
That doesn't sound very fair.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't you then, was it?
No.
Right.
Well, was it a good pizza?
I mean, it was like, it was really greasy. It was like, kind of like, it was okay.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Just as long as it didn't have any pineapple.
Exactly.
Oh,
Totally agree.
come on. Nothing wrong with some
Totally
pineapple on a pizza.
Boy.
Especially at Christmas, pineapple does not belong on pizza.
Exactly.
Especially on Christmas, pineapple belongs on pizza.
No, you're wrong, Nacho.
You're all.
You're wrong.
Pineapple
You're wrong,
belongs on
Nacho.
everything.
Kick it
Nacho,
off.
you've learned something out. If you want to have the cheesecake to yourself, you need to buy a pineapple one.
Yeah, I figured it should just like pick off all the pineapple and eat the cheesecake.
Yeah, but you
And she'd be like, "Oh, I didn't eat it all. Look, I left the pineapple."
That is literally what I would do too.
You know what? Just to spite Mara, we should just
Ew.
make the pineapple inside the cheesecake.
No,
Actually,
because she was like, "It's
I
so
actually
soft.
don't
You
mind
just pick it out
pineapple.
easy."
I don't mind pineapple,
Do
but
you see
pineapple on
this
pizza?
recipe?
Yeah.
Somebody just said,
that
I
sounds-
saw a recipe for bacon and Brussels sprout pizza.
Ugh.
Oh, seems like
Okay, we can all agree with that being non.
Yeah,
That's a bit wrong.
that's heresy right
There's
there.
also apparently there's a
it's
recipe
bacon and
for.
Brussels sprouts. Are you kidding? That is incredibly great tasting.
Perfect.
I like
I
Brussels
never heard of
sprouts, but just not on
Brussels
pizza.
sprouts.
Yeah, what a great pizza. Mm.
An odd one.
Oh,
Sorry,
God.
guys. Just
You could have, like, for Christmas dinner tomorrow, you can have Brussels sprouts and then pigs in blankets. Which,
Well,
for those
actually,
who don't know, is little sausages wrapped in bacon. So you
Yeah.
could
I was
have
gonna
those two
say.
flavors going on. But
Because I was about to say that
That's-
sounds really cute, but why are we talking about Brussels
Wow.
sprouts and like piglets like wrapped up in little blankets and just being cute and falling asleep?
because we didn't want to talk about jizz on cheesecake. Because
Blankets out Brussels sprouts.
We moved on from there, Dave. You had to bring it back to jizz. No, we
on the cheesecake.
and I'm out of here. No, I am. I do genuinely have to leave. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
I want to steal that one.
Yeah, that needs to be sent somehow.
Yeah, just a random
It's
thing
on
that
his
came up on
Twitter.
Facebook one day.
I think
That
he
is
posted it
hilarious.
on
Which
Twitter.
side's
at one point.
which side's camp is that?
The Russians?
that's
Well,
a Jewish.
and you know the
that's a
funny
Jewish
thing
camp.
about it is it's like I see snowmen and Santa. I see absolutely nothing in this picture that has any religious connotation at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, then it's
that's
communist.
like the religious side of it. They want to get rid of Santa.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Are they trying to hang themselves in the tree?
if we had one, we'd have one with all the priests in it.
Yeah.
That should
I
just be a
went,
normal prison.
I went on, I was working the other day and we went, me and my client and her mum went looking at Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And Oh my god, they are so tacky. Christmas lights are the worst. But there was one that a photo I put up on Twitter of a velociraptor in like the Santa hat and and I thought, you know what? Just this itself just made the night worth it. Like it was good. It was really, really good.
You need a Santa hat for Lucius.
Well, I'm not that comfortable about putting hats on Lucius because he doesn't like having his head touched. So that's why I took the photo of him wrapped around the little chocolates, the Santa chocolates and stuff.
I got Daisy.
I've got one picture of my ferret with a jester's hat on, and it took me 2 hours to get the picture because I had to because as soon as I put it on, he'd shake his head, and I had to wait for him to stop for a second, then be like, snap, 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 snap. Did I get one that's not blurry? No. Try it again.
See you later, Blue.
Well, that's why they put hats on reptiles, because they're much more conducive.
Slow.
Some snakes are really head shy. And Lucius doesn't like having his head touched. So yeah.
Couldn't you just glue it on him?
I could, but at the same time,
if you're going down the glue route, he needs arms.
I'm not gluing things to my snake.
Oh my god!
I will call the PETA SWAT team on you guys.
Snake Lucius is in the chat, in the side chat, so it'd be interesting to see what he has to say about all of this sort of gluing talk.
Well, he did ask for limbs at one point, didn't he?
Well, I've seen people suggest putting peanut butter on the hat, and that's how you stick the hat to the head, is by using peanut butter.
Okay.
Peanut butter?
With arms.
Noodle.
Exactly.
Now, see, I'm good with the
dude. Kiss snake.
Oh no, the seizure.
I relate to this one.
I'm good with the doodle because it's obviously photoshopped.
Yeah, I love doodle noodles. So cute.
That is adorable.
I'm trying to find myself. I'm muted. I'm like, this.
Oh no.
The cheeks.
I think we're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Go.
Mm.
I love the cheeks.
Yeah, that is cool.
You ate the cheesecake.
Oh no.
I imagine this one going, Stella!
Yeah.
OMG!
But this guy's buff.
I am too sexy for my arms.
Sexy for my skin.
He can keep the beat.
That one's really good. Like, it's got shading and everything.
Drummer snake.
Hell yeah.
Oh no.
What is this here? What is this here? What's all this about?
Yeah, that was cute.
Oh, they put legs on this one.
Oh. Move on, snakes. Well, I say.
Oh my god!
That's Lucius in the photo.
Yeah.
That is an interesting looking snake, though.
It's a pit viper. Yeah, beautiful.
Wow.
Also highly deadly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say not for petting.
Definitely not.
No,
it's got
for
the
everyone.
hurt juice.
That one came up the drain.
That one's for you, Morley, if you're still in. Yep, it's grass.
Yeah.
That one's for you, NotJah. Well, I'm not talking to you either.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, there we go. That's fun.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
love
the
the
snake
internet.
had to be God's
Oh.
laziest creation.
What was
Let's
that?
just stick a head and a tail together and not bother with any other pieces.
Pretty much. It's a tube with organs. That's basically what a snake is.
They ran out of parts, so
What was that?
They ran out of parts. They had to keep production going.
Pretty much.
Hey, Jay.
There we go.
No, it's working.
Jay! Oh my
Hey, Jay.
God! I don't know if that's amazing or
look at that.
not.
Oh, Jesus.
I think it's amazing.
I'm not sure if that's tacky or sophisticated.
I just can't.
Oh dear Lord, what have you got on?
Both is good.
He's wearing awesome. That's what he's wearing.
That tie is so wrong.
It's so wrong in so many right ways.
Yeah,
Yes.
but see, the funny thing is it goes with my Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band shirt.
He's wearing blasphemy. Just
See,
kidding.
now I wish I thought about talking to Gaelic Knox and having her put a Christmas hat on my cat. 'Cause I didn't
Yeah.
do that.
I love Gaelic Knox.
Now
She's
I'm going to
wonderful.
have to go get one.
Yeah, what's all this? Jay's the only one dressed up somewhat Christmassy.
And you're dressed
Me.
up Christmas.
Yeah, I
Dan's
know,
got a
but-
red shirt.
Avatar.
I was
You don't have
looking
a
for my
Christmas hat,
avatar
Allison?
that Nacho did last year that he put a Christmas hat on mine, and I can't find it.
I might still have it. Oh, I might not though.
I've got my Christmas. Got my Christmas right here.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
I
Red.
don't have anything Christmas themed.
Well, it's more pink in the thing, but no.
I've got a dress thing that I can wear 100,000 different ways. That makes me look like a Christmas present. It's got all these different colors and shit.
You
So
wrap yourself up nicely for NotJah, don't you?
he wraps himself up nicely for me, actually.
What you talking about?
I don't know. What would you wrap up nicely?
Hey,
This is a
nice
family-friendly
dog.
show.
Look,
I've been
even the dog's
friendly.
got a hat on.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's so cute.
Can you show me?
I have to actually say something, don't I? That'd help.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Aww.
Aww.
That is
I
adorable.
woke you up, didn't I?
He doesn't look too happy about having the hat on, though.
No, I woke her up. She's beyond bedtime.
The ill-fitting Santa hat that I wore for my Christmas cringe video.
What does it say?
Bah humbug.
That says naughty on one side, and then on the other side it says nice.
Fair enough.
Mine says bah humbug.
I was looking at Jay's. You know, Jay, you just need to, spray paint
No.
your head.
No, it's going white enough by itself.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of help.
I
You know,
was in.
if you put some big Vulcan style ears on, Jay, you'd look just like one of Santa's elves.
Yeah.
I was actually in Coles yesterday, and there was a worker that had one half green glitter on, and the other half red glitter. I can't remember which side, and on his beard. And I was like, interesting. And he also had like flashing lights, like Christmas lights. So I was like, I'm not judging, but I am. It actually looked kind of cool, but I would
Yeah,
never do
I'm
that.
not judging, but if I were, you'd
I would
probably
be.
7.
I guarantee you wouldn't judge that as much as somebody wandering around with a t-shirt saying Jesus reason.
Well, it depends where the word risen is and where it's pointing to.
Reason, I said, not risen.
Risen.
She's got something else on her mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
It's like there's
Yeah,
only,
he's
there's only
the only
one,
one.
one thing I think about, and NotJah can say it's
Yeah.
cheesecake.
Cheesecake, Jizz.
Cheesecake. Yep.
Cheesecake.
But
As I said, this is a
Yeah.
family-friendly show. We don't need that,
Yeah, no, it's cheesecake. All I think about is
What
cheesecake.
sort of
is
family?
NotJah.
Have you got
How's
any
it-
left, Mary?
Wait a minute.
All
is
she
that?
How's it
wants
family
for
friendly?
Christmas is
It's
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Is there any left?
Cheers is
There is
Cheers
some.
is the,
I honestly cheesecaked out, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say you should.
Yeah, after the fucking amount of cheesecake you've eaten.
You guys ever
I was
had
gonna say-
baklava cheesecake?
Oh, baklava. Oh, I love
Baklava cheesecake.
Oh dear God.
Oh, that's even better. And that'd be good. Because, you know,
Yeah, but I eat that.
I'd probably be up for eating it.
But
can
we
take
all
that
know
out.
the
You
real
can clip
reason
that.
for the season. John Wick.
Thanks, David.
Don
Yeah.
McLean.
Yeah.
right. I have to head off. So take care, one and all.
Buenas
man, thanks for
noches.
dropping in, bro.
Bye, Dave.
Feliz
Adios.
Navidad.
Have a
Descanses
good one, mate.
bien.
Good night.
Que duermes con
Merry
los
Christmas.
angelitos.
Glorious Yuletide.
I should throw
Baklava
Chloe's link
cheesecake.
in the chat.
Who's in? Oh.
I'm like,
God damn
I'm
it.
not a fan of like walnut or like any kind of nuts, and that looks good to me.
Yep.
Mario's face.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, that looks like it would be interesting.
Well, there's this place around the corner from where I work called Pita, and it's basically a Mediterranean place, and they have the baklava cheesecake.
Ooh.
And last Christmas, when I was gonna come home, I was gonna go and buy one, and they were like, "Oh, it's $25 for the entire thing," and I'm like, "I don't care." But they forgot what I said. I was coming to buy it on Christmas Eve, and they're like, "Oh, we're open normal hours." No, you weren't, ma. You weren't. If you'd have told me, I would have come in 3 hours early. But yeah, I didn't end up getting it, which really sucks.
Again, today I went shopping to get bread at lunchtime, and they've run out of bread. Everyone's gone. I mean, I'm screwed tomorrow. Meant to have lovely sandwiches.
You make your own bread.
Yeah, but I've got.
Do you have yeast?
Almost certainly.
Get
Salt?
medication for that.
Water? Flour?
No.
Done.
I did, but I had it cured.
I've actually just realised, Jay, we haven't asked Jay for an event moment or present that was, you know, memorable in some way, good or bad, that he wants to share. Jay.
Oh,
Yeah,
tell him that one from when you were in prison.
Or how you got
actually-
that jacket. Actually, I want to know the story behind that.
Actually,
Yeah.
this
Who
is-
gave
this
you
is
that
my-
and made you wear it?
This is my son's
Why does it
jacket.
exist?
This is my son's jacket. Actually, he
Oh, cool.
he wore it. I think it was last year for one of his forensic tournaments. But 92 December 92. Yeah, I was in the Navy, and I was in boot camp, and there's a bunch of families came to the base and got a whole bunch of sailors, and took them back to their house for Christmas. So there was like 8 of us. We went, you know, they just come picked us up, took them to their house. We had food, lots of food. Watched Hunt for Red October. So yeah, that was a very, very nice and very memorable Christmas.
That does sound
You know,
pretty good.
Yeah, we're away from the families. You know, you're in the middle of boot camp, and it's like, hey, you're going here. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was pretty good.
It sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah.
This is funny because, like, I'm looking at everyone's thing and I can just see Osmond talking, but he's on mute. It's funny as fuck. Oh, and he didn't even have his headphones on, so he wouldn't have heard me.
What?
There we go.
So
Nothing.
Say it.
The giggling at you talking, but you're on mute, but we could all see you just talking, and didn't realise that you didn't have your headphones off either until you just put them back on, so that's what, you know, it was nice.
You're also bright green.
Shit, he's gotten angry.
you know, the thing
All
is,
hulked out.
Jen, I know you were making a joke earlier with the bread comment, but somebody actually did that.
Oh, gross.
Ugh.
What was the joke?
You were
Yeast.
talking about yeast, and Jen said I got taken care of. I found
Yeah.
an article about a woman who used her own yeast
Oh yeah, I read
bread.
that too.
Well, that's, to be honest with you, I'm like, I know my way around microbes a little bit, and I know that's gross. Unless she she made a plate and she was able to isolate the yeast, it would be no different to eating bread from like baker's yeast. So it's the same sort of thing. It's
carbon footprint.
knowing the kind of people who do stuff like that, I doubt she
did. Yes, it's highly unlikely. But if she was
you'd end up with pubes in your bread as well, wouldn't you? So.
Yeah, but if she was a genuine microbiologist and was able to isolate the yeast culture, then yeah, she should have been able to be. That would have been fine.
Technically, you could isolate for somebody with athlete's foot as well.
Yeah. Also, apparently, they some scientists was able to isolate some yeast that was in amber, so it's like millions and millions of years old, and were able to make a beer out of it. So yes, so. Yeah. Yeast, seriously, you can't kill the shit. You just can't.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. But it's really hard to kill, and it's things like yeasts and tardigrades and things like that makes me think to myself that there has to be life on other planets in our solar system. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's
I think there's life everywhere.
living in.
That's the answer. Instead of pineapple, I want tardigrades on pizza.
You probably already have them on there.
Trust me, yeah, they're already there.
I am sufficiently put off lunch.
Good. I'm glad.
Have you seen the picture of my dog food?
Don't.
Certainly don't want desserts.
Pre-digested or?
No, it came out of the tin a couple of days ago. Very mouldy.
Oh, I saw that. It was disgusting.
Yeah, well, you say you can't kill it, but if you're baking the bread at 300 or 400 degrees, doesn't that do it?
Nope.
Yeah, that would do it. But that's like most things die at that temperature as
Wouldn't tardigrades survive that?
Except
they might.
I don't know if they could survive it at that speed. They can be desiccated over when the temperature is raised. But I don't know if they would survive being cooked with it going in and then heating up very quickly.
Yeah.
Suggesting they're like prawns where as long as you heat them up slowly, they don't realise they're getting killed.
Mm.
Well, they don't get killed.
That sounds
We've heated them to a stupid temperature and them survive.
Tardigrades.
It's virtually impossible to kill a tardigrade. You can freeze it, boil it, crush it, zap it with radiation, and deprive it of food and water for years, and it will wiggle back to life.
Yeah, they withstand pressures 6 times more than the depth of the Mariana Trench, which does not, like, no pressure on Earth actually exists at that temperature, and yet they've evolved to be able to survive that. So
it's demonstration that evolution has no aim.
Probably they evolved somewhere else.
Well, that's one of the hypotheses. That's actually one of the hypotheses.
They could well have survived, been something that came across. And again, there is suspicion that they've gone back. Well, not just panspermia. they could have gone to the ones that here could have gone to Mars and Venus and because.
Well, actually,
there are some on the moon.
Seeding life.
Yeah. Well, actually,
I'm fascinated. Go on.
Here's a fun piece of information. When the comet the asteroid that hit the Earth that killed off all of the non-avian dinosaurs hit, it put so much Earth material that I think they said there was like 10,000 tons of this stuff should have hit like one of Saturn's moons or something like that. So every single object in our solar system has Earth particles on it. So simply because of that has made me go, yep, there is definitely life on Europa. There's definitely life elsewhere.
Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the solution to the dim Earth paradox of the Earth not being bright enough for Earth in its early history was solved by life starting on Venus.
Yeah, it will be really interesting when they're talking about returning men to the moon. And if they could actually find the tardigrades there and see if they've survived up there.
It's likely,
we've tested them in space. We tested them in the vacuum of space.
Yeah, and they've survived at least 30 days.
Yeah, I knew that they had some on the International Space Station that they were running tests on.
Put them outside.
They're so cute, so in water bears.
And they are. I love them. They're my favorite animal.
They're adorable little critters.
Yeah. There was when I was doing a course in microbiology, like the microbiology lab at uni. One of the people found a tardigrade and then they lost it. Like it just went off the slide, and I was like, "What did you do? You kill it?" Like. That was the joke. Anyway, terrible joke. Kind of had to be there, but that's my story.
Well said.
I'd like to get a tardigrade cosplay suit.
Nerd. Has anyone here not liked the stream, by the way?
I haven't liked the stream. But
Oh, Joe, it's your own stream.
Streams. No, I find it really weird to like your own stream, so I never like my own stuff.
I don't do it either.
I do.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
like my
subscribed
own.
to myself either, because I find that very weird.
I don't think
What?
Yeah,
I'm
you can.
subscribed to myself
You can.
because I'm an attention whore.
you have to subscribe to yourself, Kate.
Yeah, I'm the same. I never click like on the streams I'm hosting.
Yeah.
No.
Same
I've
reason
heard it's better that you
I
do.
tweets.
Yeah, it's just you get more interaction, that's all.
What I would probably end up doing if I ever do anything is I'd like it, and then when other people start liking it, then I would go and unlike it, so my like still isn't there. But,
That's fair. Yeah.
That might be putting too much thought into it, which I'm prone
I'm
to
not
do.
gonna have any problems with people liking your stuff anyway, Kitty. You're lovable.
If I ever put anything out.
Put out, Kitty. You gotta.
Kitty, you gotta put out once in a while.
I walked right into that one.
Damn.
Oh, goodness me. Where's Worley to bring the conversation back?
Okay.
You know,
I can.
I put up that little promo thing for the Christmas relay last night, and I posted it at like 2 o'clock in the morning my time. And in less than an hour, it had more than 30 views.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Well, it was kind of pissing me off because I've got edited videos I actually had to research that didn't get 30 views in 6 months.
Yeah, it happens, huh?
I think my biggest viewed biggest thing I've got on my channel is when I did that Tommy McMurtry pumpkin fucker video.
Yes, no, that I did a video on that, and it was picked up by Paul from Paulogia Paul, who then shared it amongst everyone, and then told Mr. Atheist, who then put it on his community tab, and all of a sudden I just was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Oh yeah, I haven't visited that website in ages.
Also, Martin Nielsen is asking how the how NotJah's PayPal thing is going, and it's currently at $550. So on Friday night on Atheist Pastor's stream, I'm going to be on and I'm going to actually sing a song because I've done 6 years of singing training. It's still going to sound like shit, but I'm going to be singing a song. If it goes up to goes up to 600, I might even do 2.
Ooh.
Ooh. So yes, let's get
600
some
in the next 2 hours.
Yeah, if it
You
gets up
guys
to
saw my safe bet for New Year's, didn't you?
well, because I actually have to go in probably about an hour or a bit less than an hour because I have to go and get ready because I have to go and talk to family members.
Boring.
So I know. So anyway, but yeah, if it goes up to 600 by the time this stream finishes, you might get like a bit of a taste.
Ooh. A taste.
You can just do
of
a
me
taste.
eating a cheesecake. No jizz though. No jizz cake. Just cheesecake.
You don't know.
Okay. Yeah, last night I also
He made his little seed upon the cake.
Last night I also posted a clip from when I did Tom Lee's Christmas Carol on Lavender's channel. So people should go listen to that because if you don't start subscribing to me on Patreon, I'm going to do a full musical.
Ooh.
You know what? I'm going to deliberately not subscribe to just so I can get that musical. Deliberately.
You got by any dance?
I can simultaneously sing in 7 different keys, and none of them will be right.
It's a good thing I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I can only sing in 1 key, and it's never right either. So,
What's a key?
oh, it's this thing where you do stuff with it.
Isn't that what you open doorknob have with?
Yeah.
That's how you turn him on. That's what I heard.
That implies he's ever turned off.
This is true. He's dawn on him. Yeah, he's like fucking always giggity.
Hi, Julie the voice. How are you, sweetie? How are you going?
Easily opened.
Just talk to the chat right now. It might be an idea.
Oh, goodness me.
Oh, Neil going to his niece for expensive scotch. Ooh.
Sounds like fun.
I need him on the stream.
Enjoy it.
Where's mine, Neil?
It's a very good question.
Yeah, if you bring it
It
up,
ran
you've got to
past
share it
there,
with
but
all of us.
Nerdy had some comment about milking tardigrades.
You need very small hands.
Well, they're called water bears, so are they mammals?
They're not water cows, they're water bears.
Yeah, but bears are still mammals, though. That's what
Could you imagine trying to milk a bear?
I don't want to.
That's a question. That's a question to save for the next streamer. Because Mr. Bear is up next.
Oh, very nice.
Cute bear.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, won't we need a Mrs. Bear to try and milk it?
Oh.
Depends on what kind of milk you're looking for.
Oh. We're back to just cheesecake. Right?
Yeah, well, that already covered the cheesecake.
So anyways.
Oh, jeez. I mean, cheese.
You know,
You're all disgusting.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell another story to change the topic.
Sounds
Please
lovely.
do, yeah.
Oh, because the story I was going to tell wasn't going to change the topic anyway.
Well, let's get that story out of the way, then we can change the topic.
Okay.
So I showed you the Christmas gift my ex got for his stepfather and stepbrother, right? The Tuckies. The next year, he gets his mother a giant red hollow strap-on.
Oh my!
She freaked out because it was funny.
Damn.
What? The idea of her pegging her husband was entertaining. No.
Actual fuck.
Wait, it was her.
You asked for this, Osmond.
That's pretty cool.
You asked for
Yes,
it.
I did ask for it. I regret it.
I'm still trying to figure out the hollow bit.
I don't know why it was hollow, but it was hollow.
Because you put things in it, so it's like there's the jizz that comes out, you know.
I don't think that. I don't know why it was hollow, but it was a strap-on.
Yeah, what kind of demented level? I'm still stuck on. How could somebody give their mother a dildo?
Well, what you do is you buy it, and then you wrap it up, put your to mother on it, and then you give it to your mother. It's pretty
Would
easy.
you do that to your mum, not to...
Here's the problem.
There is no way in hell I would do that.
Our generation is more accepting than the previous generation. I've had conversations. No, what could I admit to? I had conversations with my mother, and they didn't have very fulfilling sex lives.
Well, no, the funny thing was,
Aw, poor them.
he wrapped it up.
I walked into my parents once and they were having oral sex.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Okay, next new subject.
I think I could probably up that one.
Yeah, Ring. Let's go back to Ring.
let me finish. No, let me finish the story because I'm not quite done.
Oh, good Lord.
She starts to open it, realizes what it is, and throws it across the room. Right. So he picks it up and unwraps it and shows everyone who's there what he got for his mother, and everybody's busting up laughing. So he opens it up, takes the tree topper off of the tree, on top of the tree, and there just happens to be a light because it's a pre-lit tree. So they've got a red, hollow strap-on hanging on the top of the tree with a flashing light in it. With a flashing red dildo on the top of her tree.
That's beautiful.
Was livid.
Well,
I'm done. I'm done.
Whatever happened to waited for her pleasure?
I hate to run, but I gotta go. My daughter just showed up, so I thought I'd stop in, say hi to everybody.
Yep. So take care of your family.
Thanks for
If
joining
she's
us.
over 18, she can join us.
And
Have a great one, mate.
I think mine's in about 6 hours. So
Okay.
Yeah, about
Might
that.
have make it out of
Try
bed.
and make it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I should be able to jump in.
you guys have fun. I'll see you
You
later.
too, mate.
man.
Merry
Have a good
Christmas.
Go and meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I'm done with mine is Aussie. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
all right, guys.
Alrighty,
We'll see you
catch
later.
See you,
Yep.
mate.
See ya, mate.
Okay, Ring, try and bring this back to something more wholesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I am.
Oh, then I can't tell my story.
We need Mero to top it. Mero was going to top it.
I walked when I was about 10 years old. I walked in on my dad and my stepmother actually having sex. So,
Yummy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was on the opposite side of that. My girlfriend's daughter, who was like 10 at the time, walked in on us.
Oh.
Well, and discovered why there was the curtain that was hanging over the headboard of the bed. That was not just a decorative thing, but that was to hide the hooks in the wall for the ropes to, tie her ankles up.
Oh my!
That's awesome. I mean, okay, worst I've had is me and a girlfriend were having sex. We were teenagers, and we were walked in on by her grandfather. But he was like real elderly, and we sort of thought maybe he didn't actually see us. But he did.
Well, this reminds me.
Walked in on by the dog.
Oh, the dog.
Our dog wouldn't stay in the room.
Yeah.
He'd scratch to get out if anything was going on.
I kind of got walked in on by my brother once, but I was in a skirt, just like sitting on his lap. So as soon as we realized, we just stopped, and it just looked like I was sitting on him, just standing there. But that was awkward.
Ooh. Yeah.
I walked in on my sister when I was 16.
Wholesome. Let's go back to
Okay, let's go back to Ring. Well, yeah, about Ring.
I
what
mean,
have you
it's
got?
still.
Who walked in on you, Ring?
Well, no. So this story is still, somewhat scandalous, but it's wholesome.
Wholesome,
Go for it.
scandalous. It's a bit of an oxymoron, but I'm intrigued.
Okay, so I was a super fundamentalist, evangelical, young Earth creationist growing up, right?
Okay.
That's fair. A lot of maybe not most, but some of us were.
Yeah.
So.
And the older of my two sisters is still very, evangelical fundamentalist. Well, when me and my wife went on honeymoon in London, we stopped by the British Museum of Natural History. And for Christmas, I got my niece a Darwin plushie and a Galapagos tortoise.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How big was it?
It was like, just like a little
A little guy. That's so cute, though.
Yeah.
So you bought us something in support of evolution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can see why. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, wholesome, but also kind of scandalous.
Yeah, one of the greatest things in the gift shop at the Science Museum in
Hey, it's
Minnesota.
Bionic Dance. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Goodly.
Hey, Kate.
I've definitely been worse.
Hey, my lovely.
It's funny. Every time it makes me download Zoom. I've had Zoom installed since forever, but every time I join Zoom, it makes me download it again.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't get the
well,
drop-down pop-up.
Here.
I have to start out with throwing you on the spot, Kate. I want a story, either a good or bad, whether it be like some present that was really good or bad, or an event on Christmas that you want to share with us.
Okay, well, I will tell you about a very embarrassing thing that happened to me one Christmas. Not entirely my fault, but it was my fault.
Someone walked into you while having sex?
Oh gosh, I was about 8 or 9, so I sure hope not. No. When I was very little, my parents and I, we would do the whole open presents thing and all that, and then we would go to a local old folks home and give them presents with like a charity group. Now it was really practical stuff, toothbrushes and socks and stuff like that. And I handed an old guy some socks. And everyone started laughing. And I was like, what? And then I realized the guy had his legs blown off in the war or something. He's got no feet. Jesus Christ. Right? And I tried to take them back, and he laughed and said, no, this is perfect, and kept them. But I was mortified. I was 8 or 9 years old. And, well, yeah. So that is my Christmas story right there.
Almost as bad as me turning into some guy and asking if he needs a hand before realizing he's missing one.
Jeepers.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So, what has the topic? I was over in Diana's stream. There was like a scheduling thing, because she usually does a Tuesday thing, and I didn't even see that this was going till she mentioned it. What's the topic besides Christmas?
Well,
talking about people walking in on people.
Yeah, it just depends what time you're listening, really, because it's been going everywhere. As long as we're trying to keep it family friendly, but we're not doing a good job.
Well, we were talking about families.
Well, sometimes you don't want family friendly. I did have the occasion of one of my cousins getting too drunk and hitting on me.
I think we broke family friendly with the cheesecake.
Yeah, the cheesecake.
Mine was a very positive story.
I think it was the Tuggy that did it, because I think.
Yeah, that was the first one.
I did see that. While I was multitasking, watching both streams, but with the sound off on this one, and I saw that, and it reminded me of something that was going on. We were what's his face, Mr. Atheist, was doing these game night things where we were playing this, and for some reasons, people started talking about penis cozies. And when I saw that image flash up, I was like, that's what they were talking about. I mean, lesbian over here, I don't know what the frig a penis cozy is, but that was clearly one when I saw it. So
somebody has something to share, don't they?
I gotta admit, I wasn't familiar with them before today, so,
I've seen those, the underwear where, like, it's in of a, elephant, and the penis goes in the trunk.
Well, that would explain why a cartoon I used to.
Isn't that your pet name for Mero, Nacho?
What, elephant? No. Oh, that's insulting to elephants.
No,
It would be insulting to taipirs if I called them that.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Whatever happened to this stream? We're not even an hour and a half.
The classic banana hammock.
You have me and Jen on. That's what happened to the stream.
Yeah, it's never going to be when we're both here at the same time.
Never.
Disturbingly, you're both sober.
I know.
Yeah.
I've got to work at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Wait a minute. Does Jen even need anyone to enable her for this? She just does it on her own.
No. She's.
It's only 9:30 in the morning here. It's way too early to start drinking.
It's Christmas Day. It's not too early.
The trick was to keep drinking all through the night.
Somebody will be driving to the hospital for a stomach pump this evening.
But hopefully not.
Pre-booked it.
Oh my God.
Well, I've still got some Captain Morgan sitting on top of my fridge from last year when I bought it for Christmas Eve for a stream. I could go get it, I suppose. I
Hey,
don't
we
know
need somebody
if-
drinking.
I don't know if it's the
I
world's
am
best
drinking,
idea, but I
actually.
could totally do it.
Well,
Yeah.
it'd be safe to drink because Captain Morgan's what 58% ethanol. Nothing survives in that.
Well, my tolerance is pretty low because, like I said, I
Okay.
haven't been drinking for a really long time.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Small sips.
Yeah.
My part
gonna
of
be
the stream
drinking,
isn't for
it's
like
not
15
gonna be-
hours. If I start drinking now, by the time it comes up for me to host, I won't be able to work the mouse.
You should,
Or
you
your
should be on your
eyelids.
back by that point.
Well, I've already started with some eggnog and rum, but I'm not gonna have any more until my stream, and that's in like 3, 4, something like that hours. I don't know.
So yeah, I've got 22 and a half hours before my stream. I'm actually really hoping someone doesn't steal my topic. I've got a plan, and just watch.
You
Someone
can tell us
will
what
do
your
it
topic is.
Yeah,
we'll try not to steal it.
Why Die Hard and
anybody-
Gremlins are in fact Christmas movies. That's what it is.
If anybody steals Kate's idea, Purple and I will blacklist them next year. There you go.
Well, yeah, it's been announced here now, so it's officially Kate's topic. Nobody can steal it.
Yeah.
'Cause
I have pages of reasons. I rewatched both movies earlier, like today and yesterday, and my gosh, some of them are so obscure, little Easter eggs built into the scripts. But my gosh, these are Christmas movies, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a Die Hard is a Christmas movie kind of person.
Oh yeah, Die Hard's definitely.
Oh,
Gremlins definitely is. If Gremlins did not take place at Christmas, it would change key plot elements.
It would.
I'm generally in the plot in the camp of not Christmas movies, but I'm waiting until Kate's stream to watch that and to see if that changes my mind. Although the little Easter egg she dropped on Lavender's stream 2 days ago maybe changed my a little bit more.
I always kind of thought that the movie Fargo was a Christmas kind of movie. I mean, it's winter. They put the guy in that grinder thing, you know, that's filled with green leaves, and it becomes red. So it's got the colors. Okay, never mind.
Sorry.
Oh,
claws from the kitty.
Now this is 100% a joke, but it could be logically argued that Die Hard is in fact the true meaning of Christmas.
The true
No,
meaning
now
of
you've
Christmas.
said that, you're gonna have to argue it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to back up.
No, wait for my stream.
Not now.
Wait for my stream.
Save it
Yeah,
and
not now.
get guest on Kate's stream and share that information on Kate's stream.
That could be a teaser, a test taste
Yeah,
for,
exactly.
for what's to
It's a
come.
teaser.
Ooh. So how many hours away is yours, Kate?
I will be doing it from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So like I said, about 23 and a half hours.
Oh, okay. So a bit
I might
under
be able
a
to
full
be
day
on it.
away. Yeah.
I mean, it's still Christmas Eve here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was what I was planning. I wanted to try and catch the people on your side of the world in Christmas Eve, so those that are just bumming around with no one else to hang around with can jump in and say hey. So,
And my
I'm glad
family
it
is
worked.
spread all over the globe right now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, and when I was growing up, my family always did the big thing on Christmas Eve was when we'd have the open house and all the friends and relatives and neighbors would come through when we'd open the presents. You know, and then Christmas Day was just a quieter thing with just the immediate family. You know, I mean, just the 15 of us.
Yeah.
Just the 15. Well, did you come from a Catholic family or something?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, my father's Catholic, so no birth control.
So now we need a
I'm the
rousing
youngest of
verse of every
9,
sperm
and
is
we
sacred.
had 4 foster kids.
it sounds like what we don't need is birth control, but rather fuck control. But hey, that's just me.
Well, don't worry. I just don't give many fucks anyway. So
I use the world's best birth control. It's called lesbianism.
It has been known to fail occasionally.
There is an argument to be had that LGBT plus people form as part of the natural birth control anyway.
Yes, evolutionary. There is definitely some evidence leaning towards that.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
the
we
two
just got
people.
serious for a second. Quick, fix it.
Well, they don't. They still. It's the eldest brother problem. The more elder brothers you have got, the more likely you are to be gay.
But
And of course, I've tried
Never
to.
heard that.
Have you not? There's a study on it. Very much real. But the underlying cause is not known. But it's suggested something epigenetic, and you can understand where it comes from a family perspective, because we moved to the idea of eldest son, progenitor, or something like that. I can't remember the name. The eldest son inherits. So you don't actually want many other sons that have kids, but you want them to look after to help look after the main kids.
See, I thought they had explained that why it was likely that was likely to happen. It had something to do with a pregnant woman's body looking at the fetus as a bit of an invader, and if it was a female fetus, it was less likely to be tagged as an invader. And then the more sons you had, the better the body got at feminizing the baby, and that's why you had the more brothers.
It could be.
I hadn't heard that part of
a
it.
Video yesterday, and I'm going to get wrong who it was. I think it was Steve Marr put out as to if you got a husband and wife that have had kids, and the wife needs an organ in it, a kidney. The husband is literally the worst person in the world to donate a kidney, even if they're a match. Because we now know that proteins cross the placenta into the mother. The immune system is trained to kill the father's genes, basically. Right. So with each kid, that's going to increase.
Yeah, that's why you have you've got RH. What is it? RH
rhesus negative.
Yeah,
rhesus negative and rhesus positive.
Yeah, so it's a problem that the first child is fine if you're a RH negative mother and you have an RH positive baby. You're fine for the first one, but the second one you actually need a lot of medical care to make sure that the baby.
Unless you have the jab straight after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at something here, and it's talking about antibodies and all that. So
it's one of those problems that they have with women who've had children giving blood as well, because the antibodies built up in the blood can actually cause a reaction in people who haven't had children.
My mom was an RH negative woman, and the blood bank paid her large sums of money to donate her blood.
Oh wow!
She never took the money, but she was asked. One of the
There was an Australian person that was being lauded a few months ago. That was responsible for massive quantities of producing the blood required to do the shot. It was one person that basically supplied Australia for years. And and they reckon that this person has saved hundreds of thousands of lives.
Oh wow!
Well, unfortunately, I have a very depressing blood type, B negative.
Yeah.
I'm oh so positive, so we kind of balance each other out.
Yeah, well, I'm just a piece of I'm just a piece of shit.
Is it normal for people to know their blood type? Because I have absolutely no clue.
It is normal.
It's like my doctor wanted to do a blood test to check whatever, and I said, "Could you tell me my blood type too? I've always been curious, so just ask your doctor."
Yeah.
I donate blood, so they gave me a blood donor card. It's in my wallet. It tells me I'm positive.
The problem is when you go to donate blood, they ask you so many personal questions, like whose blood is this and where did you get it?
They did a blood drive at my college one year around not Valentine's Day, that would have been weird, around Halloween, and the bus and the driver and one of the nurses were dressed up like Dracula. And I'm like, that's just perfect.
I find it hard to have respect for the Red Cross in Australia, considering their anti-LGBT policies.
I think aren't they trying to change that now?
I have no idea.
They are.
I have in other countries, but not here. Not yet.
But the more I've learned about the Red Cross and their charity work, the less I think of the organization.
Yeah.
They're really top heavy. Too much of the money goes into administrative fees, and not a lot gets to the actual people they're supposed to be
They're also
helping.
heavily tied to the Heritage Foundation in the US.
Also,
It's also
Nazi group.
very
What's the
propaganda right wing? Yeah,
okay?
that's one of the reasons why their policies are so anti-LGBT.
Basically, if you need a piece of work that you can look legit, that is based on research, and I went through all their policies and I read all the papers their research is based on, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
And yet, this is what is basically the entire Republican Party bases it on the output of this organization.
Well, and
Heritage Foundation,
yeah,
They won't take my blood anymore. They
won't take
refuse
mine
it.
either.
no,
But it's not because I'm trans. It's because I'm on warfarin.
yeah.
You're
Well, they
on
won't
a
take my
drug
blood.
that has something to do with a Klingon? I'm confused.
Blood thinner.
I know.
New person,
Oh,
time for the
okay.
question.
Hey, it's Diana. How you going?
Hey. Hello.
Yes.
NotJah, sorry for stepping on you. I had totally forgot it, mainly about the difference in time, that you would be coming on when I was doing my stuff. So
it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Happily, I saw the numbers. You had pretty darn good numbers, even with me around. So
I've been quite impressed, actually. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
It's okay, Diana. Don't worry about it. All the people in chat say they'd never watch you anyways.
Oh, okay. so what? I can retire, right?
No.
None of
No,
that.
you do that, and I'll be upset.
Probably everyone will be. It's
Oh,
lovely to see you.
Oh.
I do have to throw you on the spot, though, because I've done this to everybody.
dear.
I need you to give us a story, whether it be something good or bad, about Christmas or a Christmas day or an event or a present that was given or, something like that. Just a story that you want to share with us.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, yeah, a little thing going on there. I remember a Christmas much years ago. I might have been around 8 or 9, something like this. I had my heart set on a tape recorder for a Christmas present, and this is when the tape recorders weren't around, and they weren't a household thing yet. They were a reel-to-reel thing. It's kind of incidental, but the main part of the story was downstairs in the basement. There was, I think we were taking some stuff up for the tree and everything else, and he wanted me to sweep up some stuff, and said, "Okay, sweep the stuff into a dustpan, and go from there." Now, I stopped for half a minute or half a second, and I'm thinking, you're telling me to put my hand down near the bristles of this broom with the handle sticking way up there, and it seems really cumbersome to me. And this is what I'm thinking. And for half a minute, I froze and thinking, and he's like, "What? You're not doing this?" And starts running up the stairs, grumbling about how he's going to pull the tree down, take that tape recorder and throw it out the window. That was a really nice Christmas. That was one of many where he had one of his temper tantrums. And it would become a, what do you want to call it? A tradition. But they would be fuckheads. Yeah. Especially over that season. And that's my happy story. How do you like that? It's in a way, it's good that I don't have anybody around for Christmas. In a way, it's not a good thing, but what the hell? At least nobody's pulling that shit on me.
Hello.
Hey,
Tornado.
Diana, I got to admit though, just before we jump over, I actually am in a position where I feel lucky that my family's not around at the moment. They've all gone for a holiday. My little brother's still here, but he's out of the way. And it gives me a lot of freedom. it gives me the freedom to do this and talk openly without being worried, you know.
Yeah, that's got to be nice. That's got to be nice.
Yeah, and it's not like, you know, if we don't do a Christmas thing anyways, I don't want to just hang around the family for, you know, this time when I'm hanging around them anyway. But tornado.
Oh, I need to ask you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That toast you had made that you thought that you had done fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did that? Is that resolved yet, or?
I'm sort of having to assume that it was not the worst case scenario, and
okay,
because I haven't heard anything yet. But again, I've barely interacted much with them, so I just have to assume, you know, seeing as I haven't heard anything, then maybe it slipped by.
Oh, that would be so nice.
A bunch of nuclear codes, I take it. Nuclear launch codes, is that what it is?
Something along the lines of that,
Pretty close, yeah.
There's always a possibility, NotJah, that your younger brother just doesn't give a shit.
Nah, yeah, it's questionable. I mean, he's a pretty diehard Baptized, you know, he does, you know, he's... Yeah.
I mean, Die Hard, save that for my stream, please.
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
That's got to be total shit. I mean, really.
So,
yeah.
If we're talking
Just
about
hoping for the
is a
best.
Christmas story, is Life of Brian a Christmas story?
Now it's more of an Easter story.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, because I mean, there's one scene that takes place at Christmas, one, and that's it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it has no real bearing on the plot at all. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Ben-Hur. It's an Easter movie.
I'm going to throw over to Tornado. I've been asking everybody this. Give us one of your top memories or most memorable sort of Christmas events or presents, whether that be good or bad. Something that stands out.
One of my more memorable events, one of my more memorable Christmas presents was that year I got fireworks as a Christmas present.
Yeah, and you mentioned that in the chat. That's pretty damn cool.
Do I even want to know the outcome?
Yes.
Well, no one got hurt, if that's what you're asking.
What good is this story?
Yeah.
Violence and blood.
I mean, was there at least a little destruction?
Aside from the weird stuff that some people are mentioning, it was a fairly normal Christmas at that point in time. And, well, I got to light off the fireworks on Memorial Day.
That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And then, of course, there's this one year that I had a Christmas train. It was just the actual engine car, not nothing with the rest of the train in it. Just this one solitary locomotive-looking thing. I don't know where it went, honestly. I barely remember it. I was like, 5 at the time I got it?
Fair enough. Was it like just a...
So that was a couple of years ago? Leave it to Clarion, you know?
Yeah.
There's also the year that I first remember seeing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie, not the TV special. There's an actual movie of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, no.
Well, that one's definitely a Christmas story. Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'd definitely call that a Christmas movie.
Yeah, Tons of Productions was the one who made that particular movie. And I can remember, even after having not watched the movie for maybe, I don't know, at least, I was 8 when I last remember seeing that movie. So I hadn't discovered it in 14. I don't remember seeing it for 14 years. But I remembered so clearly this one scene in the school where this one buck known as Arrow called Rudolph Ruddy the Red-Nosed Reject and said he was never going to be a flyer. And before I remember seeing the movie, and that scene just made me so friggin' angry. Two guesses to why.
You have deep emotional issues.
I'm out of guesses.
Well, it's because I looked at Rudolph as a friend. I could relate to him because of the whole bullying thing.
Yeah, and you.
Okay, I get you.
I mean, that's the main arc of the Rudolph story, isn't? Or not the main arc, but like the whole setup, I should say, of the Rudolph.
Oh yeah,
story,
yeah.
Yeah, but it still got me angry.
Well, that's fair enough.
Nothing more than just wanting, for several years, even before I saw the movie, every single year at Christmas, I was asking, hey, can Rudolph stay the night with me after he's done delivering all the presents?
Aww.
Every year for like maybe 6, 7, maybe even 8 years, I was always asking Santa, hey, could Rudolph stay the night with me this year?
Did you really want to sleep in a bed full of reindeer shit?
Hey!
It was 6, 7, or 8 years. I mean, did the reason why you want Rudolph to stay change over that time frame?
Oh, jeez. Jen.
I'm gonna have to skedaddle because I have to go and actually spend time with my family, which is a hideous yeah, I know.
I feel so bad for you.
I do too.
Well, you're going to make it up to NotJah later, right?
I think I might have already done it.
Oh, okay.
You seem to have
Yeah, by eating my damn cheesecake.
wizard behind you, possibly some sort of elder wise man. I can't tell.
Jen.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to, Kay?
Jen's brother.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Well, Mara,
It's not
enjoy
Gandalf.
your time with your family.
You're a wizard, Robert.
Love you too,
Especially-
Julie.
You wonder where you got it
Especially
all
your
from.
parents.
Have a great one,
Yeah,
Ned.
this year for Christmas, I'm going to be spending.
Bye-bye, Meryl.
All right, see it. By the way, everyone, I'm just
Bye.
about to put a link into the donation pool to go and give money to NotJah so he can get a new computer so he can start making bloody stuff again. So, yes.
Oh, my.
We are now.
Nacho
I will
Man.
go. Hang on.
Give
let's
money
see.
to the Nacho Man. Sorry.
Nacho. Yeah, so we're on 570. So on Friday night with Atheist Pastors stream, I am going to be singing a song.
Oh, my.
Yes, I know.
Oh, my.
I know. I did 6 years of classical singing training. I still sound like shit, but
Oh.
but
Oh, come on.
yeah. So I'm just saying.
He's talking absolute crap.
Well, when I'll
What's
tell
a
you what,
teaser?
I will stop singing when people donate.
Okay, excellent, fantastic idea.
Hey, Mero,
Sounds great.
if you've as well had the classical training, one of these days we've got to get together and do a duet.
Ooh, we should. We should.
So,
I am
If
also
I-
classically
Okay,
trained.
what are you up to on Friday?
Friday night our time, so that'll be Friday morning yours.
Wait a minute. No, Friday night your time is
Friday morning.
12 hours
10 a.m. GMT.
ahead of something like that.
Because we're doing a fundraising stream for NotJah.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, right
Give me
now,
time
Meryl,
zones.
it's
About
what
10 a.m.
time is it?
GMT.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, so it's all my time is almost midday, so I probably won't be able to get to the stream until at least 9:30.
Okay, because it's almost 9 p.m. here. Okay.
Yeah, so
No, I got
another
it. I keep
9
forgetting.
hours on top of that.
Australia's between 13 to 17 hours ahead.
What's your exact time zone, Mero?
Like Brisbane, but the problem at the moment is because of daylight savings, it's a bit off because for some bizarre reason, Google doesn't think that daylight savings happens in, like, Google thinks that Brisbane, like Queensland, Queensland doesn't have daylight saving, but New South Wales does, and Google thinks that that they're
so
the
they
same.
list us as the same as Sydney time when we're actually not.
Yeah, we're an
Because
hour.
Australia doesn't exist.
Time difference.
Yeah. I hate daylight savings. We should get rid of it. We should either choose one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying for years, why not just move it half an hour and leave it there?
Yeah, just piss everyone off.
Yeah.
And I prefer to put my daylight in like municipal bonds or something.
Yeah.
No, I want noon to be noon based on the solar position.
Okay, so that would be standard time here in the U.S., as far as I know. Okay, now this is where I've got to do some thinking. I think that here in Pittsburgh, solar noon and standard noon differ by just a couple of minutes. So at least as far as Eastern Standard Time is concerned, they seem to be set on the midpoint of the time zone. But then again, Eastern Standard Time is weird. It's wider than any of the other time zones in the lower 48. So I'm really not sure how the hell that works.
Well, the East Coast is pretty odd all by itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every time someone says GMT, I have to remind myself that GM doesn't mean Green Mountain, because I was raised in Vermont, which is the Green Mountain state, and so many things are abbreviated that way. So whenever someone says GMT, I have to remember, no, Greenwich Mean Time.
Or genetically modified time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always think General Motors.
The
And of
Eastern
course,
time
whenever
zone got as wide as it did because they ran it by state borders.
Okay,
So first of
yeah,
all, they had
yeah.
to include all of Ohio.
Mhm.
What I don't understand is why Indiana got included in that instead of in Central.
I had read it somewhere and I totally forgot. There is a weird reason that happened.
Well,
It never should have.
Let's also remember Indiana is the state that the state legislator tried to pass a bill to make pi equal to 3.
Uh-huh.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
In the chat, Maya Atkinson, EST is the true time. No, Maya, it is not. Central time is real time because the people from Central is the Midwest, and the Midwest has the natural language, English language, without any stupid accents that the East Coast or the West Coast have. So the Central time.
Wait. English without stupid accents. I'm sorry, that has to be England.
Okay, God.
I'm going to have to head now that I've started that. So I'm going to go.
I'm like,
Oh my God.
please, guide me with a spoon.
John?
See you later, everybody. I'm going to have to head
See you,
now that
Ned.
I've started.
See you, Mara.
Bye. Love
Sweetie,
you all.
be good to have
Mwah.
Bye bye.
Be good, don't get caught.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jen,
that's a good one.
you're in Minnesota.
That's
I lived
right.
in Minnesota for 25 years, and I picked up the accent so that when I moved to New York, everyone thought I was Canadian.
There ain't no accent. Hey,
Oh, heavens, the Gretzky. Yes, I'm Canadian. Sorry, that sort of slowly turned into Scottish. Never mind.
So a bit of time zone trivia.
Yes, dear.
One of the U.S. states actually technically jumps time zones. Which is it?
Oh, I know this one. Oh, they did it on the West
Arizona?
Wing.
Wait a minute. When you say jumps time zones, what do you mean?
As in, for part of the year it's in one time zone, and then for the
Arizona.
That's what I said. It was I thought it was
Okay,
Arizona.
maybe it wasn't Arizona. I was thinking, I swear there was an episode of the West Wing where they're like still in the same state, but the time zone is like they crossed the time zone accidentally or some shit. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't Arizona.
Well,
I crossed the time zone once and I got pregnant.
Whoa! That must have been a feat.
It was miraculous.
Actually, I live with a weird quirk of the time zones. That I'm in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and half of the year I'm on the same time as Michigan, and half of the year I'm not. Because Michigan does not do daylight savings time, but the 5 counties that border Wisconsin stay on Wisconsin time and do it.
Oh, boy. I don't know anymore. I really don't.
Well,
There's all the time zones.
my family
All the
lives
time
on
zones.
the East
Well,
Coast.
there's several
I
that are
live on the West
split.
Coast.
Oh, in
And
the
my
US.
inconsiderate mother keeps forgetting about the time difference and waking me up to
Yeah.
say hi.
Oh, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
Which
set her
time
on
zone are you
fire?
in, Kate?
I'm in Pacific, but my
Okay.
parents are in Eastern. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that Eastern time zone. That's way too freaking wide, man. Yeah.
Hey, I have.
I believe
actually,
it
I think
is.
it's just the Pacific is really narrow.
Yeah.
Central is the biggest, I think.
Huh. And all this time I thought the South was the most narrow.
In
I see
some
what you
ways
did
they
there.
are, yeah.
Thank you, Kate.
If you
Well,
think about
Pacific looks narrow in land area because it extends halfway out into the ocean.
Oh, weird. I didn't know I could do this. I'm gonna try.
Nice.
Oh boy.
It's a smiley face. Exactly.
Yeah, good save. Good save. I like that. Hey, alrighty then. Oh my.
Goodness me.
All right.
Yeah, the South would be, narrow in mind, but wide in body.
Yeah. Wide load. Small brain. I don't know.
Can I share what I'm doing since you guys are all sharing screens?
I'm a little worried about that, but
Oh, don't worry.
As well you should be.
I'm the one drawing penis faces on the screen. I mean, I'm worried.
No! Oh, wait a minute. What is that, Orbiter?
Goodness.
Kerbal.
Oh, Kerbal, okay.
It's the Apollo Saturn V.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
but
cool, though.
Orbiter has one of those too.
Can you make it less dark?
Look at the names of my pilots down there.
Can't see it.
Can't see it. What, Larry
Rudolph,
Curly and Moe?
Vixen, and Cupid.
Rudolph Kerman, Vixen Kerman, Cupid Kerman. Rudolph, Vixen, Cupid.
I brought Vixen along
Okay.
because she's a scientist.
Okay, I will be right back.
Okay, that's
guys,
enough of Saturn V.
I'm going to be right back. I have a very hungry kitty to feed. So I'll be
Ooh, priorities. See you soon.
Yeah, have any of you seen the YouTube cartoon called Simon's Cat?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how at the
Simon's
end,
cat.
Simon is always...
Here, I have something to share.
Now I'm frightened.
Oh,
my!
Well, come on.
You broke it.
There you go, because everybody likes lesbian anime sex. Okay, that's done.
What I could use around here is some lesbian to lesbian sex, okay, anyone? Come on, it gets lonely here.
No.
Shinsky tornado, if I
Kate
may.
has returned.
All
Yep.
right.
it was fast.
After the lesbian images have gone, Kate's returned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have more.
Has Kerbal got around to being able to adjust?
Let's see here.
As Kerbal got around to being able to adjust the clock, there was one mod at one point where you were able to use actual planets, like Earth and Mars and
Real solar system.
Yeah, and that screwed the clock up because it was set for Kerbal time, and remember that Kerbin has a much smaller circumference than Earth does. So you would have something like 4 Kerbal days passing while the Earth rotated once. Have they fixed that?
Hold on, let me look. Advanced. I'm not sure. It's somewhere around here.
I'd like to see it fixed.
Okay.
Big death.
Well, actually, what I've got to do sometime is I've got Orbiter sitting around here. I've got to get around to installing it.
Let me just check that for you, Diana. Because I remember way back when they had this screen. Well, I remember they have this sort of time option that does show for real Earth time. I'm not sure if it's here though. I'm gonna have to look.
I haven't played with KSP in at least a year.
And I just put XCOM Enemy Unknown and Everspace on my computer, and I'm having a good time with them.
Now, what are they?
Well, XCOM Enemy Unknown is like a sequel to the original XCOM game, which is basically UFOs are attacking the Earth, and you have to create an organization to fend them off, basically.
Oh.
There's a lot of tactical, turn-based, squad-based combat. Everspace, on the other hand, the plot seems to be that you have like an infinite supply of clones and you're trying to figure out what the hell happened to you that you got cloned so many times. And so you fly a first-person spaceship combat trying to get to the far end of a big zone to figure out what the story is. And every time you die, you come back. You basically start from zero, except you have a whole bunch of traits that got upped for your spaceship. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It's a good way to turn off your brain for a while and just sit back and enjoy.
Does it cost much money?
It didn't when I bought them, but that's because it was part of the Steam sale. So it may well be that they've gone way the heck back up in price since I bought them.
Well, the Steam winter sale's on right now.
Steam always seems to have a sale going on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's very expensive, I'd have to wait on it. There are so many other things I really want to do. I mean, my chair died. I want to buy another one. I'm going to wait until the holiday delivery rush is over before I do that. I know better than to order anything during the rush now. And then, of course, I want to see what I can do about putting some cash away and getting down to Faithless Forum if possible. So there's a lot of stuff that I've sort of cut out of my budget. When I cancel the baseball television, I'm serious about the stuff I'm using the money on, okay?
Diana, forgive me if I don't know what Faithless Forum is.
It is an atheist...
You are not forgiven.
Yeah, I agree.
It is an atheist convention. It's an atheist convention in Texas.
Oh, you mean with Aaron Ra?
Yeah, he's been known to show up.
Yeah, it's not his thing, but he will almost certainly be there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what? If they hold it in Dallas, he's right next door?
Yeah, he's literally, from what I understand, he lives right around the corner from the hotel that they usually do.
Okay.
But by the way, if you were to buy both Everspace and XCOM Enemy Unknown, it would probably cost you less than $15 right now on Steam.
Oh.
Like total, not each, total. Because Everspace is $4.49 and XCOM 2 was like 12 something.
Okay,
no, that's less.
So you were saying 15.00. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm looking here. XCOM Enemy Unknown, $7.49. So seriously, really cheap.
Yeah, and I do have the Windblow system. I'm running off the Windblows right now because Zoom kills my Linux system. I don't know why.
Because it's Linux. I keep telling you, get off of the Linux.
Diana?
Yeah, see.
Yes, Kurt, there is an option there for regular time.
Oh,
see,
okay.
You put Kate and Diana in a chat together, and it becomes the Kate and Diana show.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I hope you don't mind my saying, hun, but over these last few months, it's basically become that. I mean, you're almost a permanent fixture.
That I'm interesting. I'm sorry.
Hey, you're pretty much a permanent fixture on my shows, and I'm not complaining at all. I am not complaining at all. I love having you on. Somebody to have a discussion with online as well as other people.
Yes, but you guys have to take breaths in between sentences so other people can jump in.
There you go.
I sat there Sunday like just listening. Like they are never going to stop.
I find it very, very difficult to fly solo. I have done it.
Need enough batteries.
Pretty much.
Or my brain went too.
But No, it's I can do it, but it's very, very difficult for me to keep a conversation going. Well, not a conversation, to keep the monologue going. It's so much better to have somebody around to talk to. And now, if I could just have that at breakfast, that would be perfect. But
That's why I can't do game streaming, because I'll get into the game and just stop talking, and I'm like, oh, if I want people to be engaged, I have to keep talking. I'm like, but I want to pay them.
I'm with you on that. I have a second channel that was for a while for gaming, and now it's for nothing because I keep forgetting I even have it. And I was never sure how much to talk during my gaming streams.
Mm-hmm. All the time. Read everything that's on your screen. And then, go ahead.
What? Oh, well, there's something, when I'm doing the cooking shows, that's okay because I'm describing what I'm doing and talking about what I'm doing. So I don't necessarily need that extra person. But on a show like this, it's hard. Oh, well. So much for
Johnny.
that. Next.
Yeah.
Oh, is Johnny here?
New person.
How you doing, mate?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Sweetie,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Hi, sweetie. You are the big sweetie. Hello.
Question time.
Merry Christmas.
Question time.
Wait, before that, I need to drop out. Get ready.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, Dave.
All right, Dave. Have a good
Yeah.
one. Merry Christmas, mate.
Okay,
And thanks for
having
joining
me.
us.
Thank you.
Dave, good to see you again.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Great to see you, honey.
Okay,
Come
Tornado.
on by.
Don't do anyone I wouldn't do.
I think
Leaves open a lot of options.
That's pretty much.
Tornado's off as well, if that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a great
Kate is
one, buddy.
hosting
Thanks for
tomorrow.
joining.
I'm hosting tomorrow, and we've got a lot of DNA exchange going on there. So I don't know.
All right, drive by. I got to ask you the question.
It's kind of a
straight at
family
you.
show.
It's sort of meant to be a family show, but
not anymore. It's not.
All right. What was my question now? I've forgotten it. Fuck. Oh, yeah. Have you got any sort of Christmas
It's your
event
name.
or Christmas present that was either good or bad, something memorable that happened that you'd like to share, either like any time in your life, sort of thing?
Something memorable.
Yeah.
Geez. Yeah, I don't know. Christmas was just Christmas. Nothing really special.
Whatever.
Can't think of-
Never ever.
I really can't. I mean,
Childhood traumas?
No, Jamal. Of course, childhood trauma. I mean, why do you think I am the way I am?
Well, that's what we're looking for. Come on.
I mean, did you shoot your eye out after getting the BB gun you've been asking for like a month?
No, it was my brother. My brother was like 4 years younger than me, so he took all the painful blows from me. So.
No.
Oh, you watched and learned. Okay.
I have a friend who did take out an eye with a BB gun. So.
Oh no.
It is true. It does happen.
What's somebody in my
Now that you mention it, someone sent me this. It's
Oh.
an assault rifle. It's salt as a shotgun intended to kill bugs with it, and it has a laser sight too. Thing is, if you fire it too close to the wall or something, it will spray back at you and hit you in the face. So I have gotten facefuls of salt with this thing, and I very nearly have shot my eye out, even though it was pointed in the other direction.
Oops.
So because the ammunition is salt, does that make it an assault rifle?
Yes, that they call it the bug assault rifle.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to try and get one of them. That's awesome.
They're like $49 US.
That's
Holy
the
crap.
the ammo right here. So, like I say, bug assault rifle. Yeah.
Is that
The
kosher salt?
Winchesters would be proud.
Basically kosher, just probably a little bit finer.
Does that mean your dead flies are kosher and you can eat them?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, you can
Like my dad would say, additional protein.
Well, that's why I'll never play Scrabble. It's great fun until somebody loses an eye.
Yeah. You had to go there.
Let 'em just, yeah. When you share screens, can you hear the sounds coming from the screen?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No,
You have
I
to
don't
do
think
the
there's any
sounds
audio with that.
independently.
When
There's-
Kerbal was up, I heard nothing. So
Yeah, there's some really weird stuff you have to do to be able to share the sounds as well, and that's one of the things I want to learn how to do under Linux. My understanding is that you can use something called there's a word for it, and I forget what the heck it is.
It's not hard to do. There's a checkbox that says share computer sound.
Yeah, and I was going to say.
Let me show. I want to show you guys this. Osman sent it to me.
Oh no!
Right?
Oh no!
Okay, the sound is working.
that's kind of terrifying.
Wait, do you have the microphone near that, or is it coming through?
It's coming through.
Yeah.
All right. Okay then.
And I know you can quite easily share your sounds using OBS if you're on a proper operating system, Diana.
And Jen.
No, my understanding is that Jeff would have to jump through all kinds of hoops to share sounds, and he was running a Windows system with OBS. So I don't know. Maybe something's changed recently. I'm going to have to investigate all this stuff.
Obi, I got a new laptop, and this is a memorable Christmas. I had a laptop, but on the OBS is a lot more user friendly. Because I downloaded the latest version of it, and it was like really user friendly. So, and I use the Mac, so it wasn't ever user friendly with the Mac at all.
Okay then. I might have some looking around to do, investigating. Because, I mean, one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons I had put this Windows system on here was to see what I could do with OBS and the sound playing and everything else that I could not do easily with Linux. I mean, I was trying various things that they said you could do. And obviously, I was doing it wrong because it wasn't working.
Why would anybody have the idea that OBS is easy for sound? OBS is a pain in the butt for sound, for me anyways, because there's only two controls, my mic or my computer. Nothing else.
Really? I've been able to get it to accept multiple audio streams.
Well, maybe that's something different, because like when I load up OBS and I'm trying to like what I would like for it to be able to do is to just stream the window that audio from the window that I'm streaming from and my mic, so that I could be like in a voice chat like this, and you'd hear me and you'd hear the game, but you wouldn't hear everybody else. But
the problem
that's what I was doing with my gaming channel when I was using it, was I would stream the game and the game audio and my mic both at the same time. It was really easy to do.
The problem I would have is, okay, let's say I wanted to play a film clip. I'm playing the film clip through OBS. The audience is hearing what's going on. But in the chat panel, nobody, including me, can hear what's going on.
There's an option on there that says monitor, and that when you have it on monitor, that means that you'll be hearing it, so you monitor it, and then plus putting it is out to the other people. So you got to have the monitor. There's a checkbox for the monitor and output of it.
Okay, because what I was trying to do was be able, the audience could hear it, and we on the panel could hear it. That's what Jeff had to jump through all kinds of hoops about.
Okay.
Something called vStreamer or some shit like that. And I watched a setup of that, and it was like crazy. It looked like a patch panel, basically. And a patch panel is a lot easier because you can see where the plugs are and where the wires are going on this thing. No, it's like, yay. I don't have to screw around with it and see what I can do.
Question time. I said, a new person, question time, NotJah.
Yes,
NotJah?
sorry. I was on mute. Didn't realize.
Hello.
Hello, Mel. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, Mel.
I'm doing fantabulous. Having a bit of a party, I suppose, even though only a few of us are drinking it. Wait, is anyone drinking?
I drank a lot before I showed up here.
I'm drinking
Oh, yeah.
coffee.
We got some.
I'm drinking Rockstar, if that counts.
That'll count. I'm drinking Coke. I shouldn't be, but I am.
I'm a friend of allegedly Dave.
I've got rum and eggnog.
I had a lot of eggnog.
I
and
could have rum and eggnog.
All right, there's options. But Mel, seeing as you're here, I have to throw you on the spot and ask you the question. Give us one of your favorite or least favorite Christmas moments in that you something memorable, an event or a present or whatever it might be, good or bad.
Okay, so I worked in retail for 10 years. So it's like Christmas lasted for 3 months. So
You've got a list.
3 months of Christmas for 10 years so that's 30 months of Christmas. So if I hear Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives one more time, I'm going to guess.
Oh, you just reminded me of something.
Yeah, me too.
Come on, Holly. No, Burl Ives, shut up. Every time.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I worked for about 5 or so years in retail, and yeah.
I was actually temping once at a Toys R Us during Christmas, but it wasn't just Christmas. It was the Christmas of both the Talking Buzz Lightyear and the Tickle Me Elmo.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I actually quit that job 10 days before Christmas because it was my birthday. I was feeling sick. They stuck me on a register instead of on the floor and skipped me for my break. I said, screw that crap, all in one day, and I just quit right on the spot.
Okay, then I can't say that I blame you.
So similar to the Burl Ives thing, the place that I worked for got stuck playing, like they glitched or something, and they played Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" for 24 straight hours.
Ow!
Okay.
Ow!
And I was a truck unloader right under the speaker.
Oh.
For 8 hours.
Okay. I used to
this
DJ.
Is why they have carry permits.
See, I actually used to DJ. And so during the time I was working in retail for 10 years, I actually DJ'd as well. At one point in time, I had 4 jobs, guys. I'm not even going to lie. I had 4 jobs, 2 days off a month. This is during the time I was working in retail and DJing at the same time. So I would do Christmas parties. And oh my God, Mariah Carey on top of the retail. And then you would get the creepy guys who'd be like, you have really pretty eyeliner. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's like, what are you doing later? I'm DJing right now. Yeah, and you smell really nice. Didn't you come with this girl over here? She was like, go back over there. Oh my God.
Ugh.
I don't care for the holidays often because of my experience during them.
Can't blame
See,
you.
and now I've got that song in my head again. Not the song you're thinking, although Diana might be thinking about it because we just mentioned it on her show. But Christmas music's driving me nuts. It's part of, yeah. I'm going downtown, gonna hack all those loudspeakers. Christmas music's driving me nuts. We're forming a mob. We're doing it right. Gonna have us a real silent night, Christmas.
I consider this my most successful Christmas season ever. I have not watched a single Christmas special on television. I have not heard a single Christmas carol. And I have not bought a single roll of wrapping paper. I am very happy.
I don't mind all that. But there's only one Christmas special that I ever want to watch, and it's an old one. It's called Will Denton's Claymation Christmas.
Okay.
And it's a Christmas special that's hosted by a Triceratops and a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And all it is claymation animated music.
Oh, purple would fit right in.
Right.
Yeah.
They like the Carol of the Bells and
I love that one.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer performed by the California Raisins.
Oh, I have a California Raisin. Where is he?
The 2 dinosaurs the characters are modeled after Siskel and Ebert. So they're critiquing all the performances.
So
It's actually
there
really
was,
cute.
There was something I have been thinking for years, but only finally really vocalized it earlier this year, was that the more religious the Christmas song, the more depressing it sounds. Like Carol of the Bells sounds creepy. Like you'd totally use it in a Tim Burton movie, right?
Have you heard it done by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
good.
Christmas Eve, Sarajevo, 1224, best version of Carol of the Bells ever.
But like if you get into Santa Claus is Coming to Town, it's a much more happy, upbeat song. And while that's not like 100% reliable, this dichotomy here, it's definitely a trend. In fact, the exceptions serve only to illuminate the rule rather than refute it. So
okay. Now this is call me weird. I mean, many people have. But
You're weird, Diana, but I like your weirdness.
Thank you.
It coalesces with my weirdness. So it's fine.
I really do like, of all damn songs, "Oh Holy Night." It's in D flat major.
Yes, absolutely.
And to me, that key is very soothing.
I heard that a cover of that by Patti LaBelle. She did it a cappella. It was just, I got goosebumps. It was just so powerful.
May I share a 2.74 second clip off of YouTube? It's a Christmas song, but I love it.
Copyright strike.
I'm being yelled for. Hold on. Never mind. I'm at home at my parents' house, and my dad is letting me use his computer. So when they yell, I gotta go. I'll be back.
Okay, so I have to ask people here: how many people have fallen in Whamageddon?
In what now?
Huh? What?
Do you not know about Whamageddon?
Never
No, I
heard
do
of
not
it.
know.
I'm gonna, Whamageddon essentially is you go the entire month of December without hearing "Last Christmas" by Wham. When you hear it, you've fallen, you've died in Whamageddon, and gone to Whamhalla.
I don't even know
Don't get me wrong. I
what
love
it is you're
the
talking
music,
about.
but I have never heard of this song to begin with.
Hold on.
Which drug is
I'm gonna find it
required?
for you.
Is
It's
You're gonna Whamageddon us.
I'm gonna completely Whamageddon all of you. So
all right, it sounds like
Ready?
Rick rolling someone, but okay.
Yeah,
I was
that
gonna
one.
say,
If it'll ever.
Don't do it for too long.
Yeah.
Completely 187,000% unfamiliar with this song.
I've never heard that song.
Yeah, that plays all the time here. Oh.
Oh, for fuck's! I think I know this song, but I'm trying to remember the last time I heard it. And the time unit I'm speaking of is years.
Is this like the seasonal version of a Rickroll or what?
It kind of is, yes, essentially. Look up Wham's Last Christmas. They have a 4K version. They've remastered it. So George Michael died like 2 years ago, the same night as Carrie Fisher. I'm still not okay, guys. I'm still not okay. I'm still not okay losing George Michael and Carrie Fisher the same night. It like ruined Christmas for the rest of my life, I think. So it's like, but go check out Last Christmas by Wham. Put yourself in Whamhalla, with the rest of us. I heard it the first week in December.
Well, my favorite band is Roxette. And Marie Fredriksson, the female lead, just died 2 weeks ago, which really ripped my heart out. But one of their most famous songs is It Must Have Been Love, because it was in Pretty Woman. But they made that song ages ago, way before Pretty Woman was ever a thing. But it was called Christmas for the Brokenhearted. And they had to take the line about Christmas out in order for them to have it in the soundtrack for Pretty Woman, which is a bit of trivia only a Roxette fan would know or maybe even care about. But still, it seemed relevant. So,
yeah, I saw that. It was a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh my God, everybody's dying.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the point.
Everybody does.
Okay, here's the thing. My birthday was a couple of days ago, right? It was December 15th. And most people don't believe it of me, but I just turned 44. Okay. Now, because of that, a lot of my friends, for some reason, seem determined to make me feel old. Like, if I'm not willing to feel old, they're going to force me to feel old. So I noticed that it seems like more and more celebrities are dying all at once. Like in the last couple of weeks, it seemed like there was just this huge glut of dead celebrities. But when I posted about that, people were going, oh, no, you're just getting old and noticing the people that were stars when you were younger are dying off now. I'm like, no, a lot of these are just people I never heard of, but someone posted about them on Facebook. But everyone's like, nah, you're old. You're a codger. And I'm like, dude, why? But
oh God.
So it's very frustrating. I don't act old. I don't look old. I don't do any. But people are determined to make me feel elderly, and I'm sick of it.
Until Eddie Vedder kicks it, or Dave Grohl or somebody, I'm not believing that argument. So it's like, no.
That's the interesting thing is I don't feel that much different to the way I did when I was 35. But as you say, Kate, there are so many people out there who want me to feel more my age. But then there are the other people, and this is the thing that really gets me. So many people think I'm 50. And I'm not 50, okay? I'm 62. So everybody's thinking I'm, 12 years younger than I am. It still doesn't give me any dates. But then you've got the people who, no, you're old. And they play off each other very, very weirdly.
Well, I still get people, like if I tell them to guess my age when they don't know it, some people are multiple decades off in the correct direction. I still get people telling me I look like I'm in my 20s. Most people say mid-30s, but I had someone going, you're like 26, right? And I was like, thank you.
Now you know how I feel, whenever I would get carded for whatever.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, although actually in Seattle, you are legal. You have to card everybody. They could look 97. You still have to card them. So it's not the compliment I'd like it to be, but
I've had people, and when I've been in some online games, say that they thought I was in my 20s just from my voice, which is insane to me. But
yeah, I mean, nothing like being taken 60 years younger than you are, right?
Yeah,
no.
I tell people I'm 63, and they're like, "Wow, you look great." I'm like, I know I'm not 63, but if they ask me, I always add lots of years to myself, and I go 63. I'm like, "You look great." I'm like, it's like, let's take a walk every once in a while and drink some water. It's totally fine.
Well, as the resident,
to tell them to guess every time.
As the most experienced resident old person, Kate, you do not look 44. You really don't.
Well, so you're saying I look about 67 then?
No, I would say you look mid to late 30s.
I'll take it.
The interesting thing is, though, I don't.
It's NotJah that looks really old. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
I don't think I would.
It's all the Botox that gets rid of my wrinkles.
I don't think I would trade having grown up in the era in which I grew up for growing up at a later time. I love having grown up in the 60s.
I bet that was fun.
Oh my, it was a time of discovery. It was a time of accomplishment.
And a heck of a lot of awesome music.
The acid was much better.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wouldn't trade being an 80s kid for anything, because we had the best entertainment. I mean, 2 Star Wars movies, Tron, The Terminator. We had some of the best music too. I mean, all of the like the hair metal and the synth pop and all of that stuff. Oh my gosh, the 80s was such a great time to be a kid.
I second that.
Yeah. And I bring this up a lot. I think that movies were in a sweet spot where the special effects got good enough to be believable, but they weren't yet being used in place of plot. So people were still writing good movies and making special effects that didn't look like they were made out of cardboard and sparklers. So
we got the Princess Bride. The Princess Bride is ours.
Princess Bride is a perfect movie.
You know, the never-ending
I
story.
I
Oh my
disagree.
God.
The Princess Bride lacks 4 things that it needs to be the perfect movie: robots, ray guns, aliens, and spaceships.
No, I didn't
Bride
say
in
it's
space.
the perfect movie. I said it's a perfect movie.
Well, all right, but I've been seeing a lot of memes on Facebook saying it's the perfect movie. So
you keep saying that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means.
Hey, all you kids, I have 2 words for you for movies. Forbidden Planet.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The heavy-handed religious message turns me off.
Yeah.
What religious message? That's a modern day The Tempest.
Okay, Aki, whatever the heck your name is in the chat. No. I like The Princess Bride. It's just not the perfect movie. Okay, don't misconstrue what I said about The Princess Bride as if I don't like it. I love that movie. Okay, so. Also, has anyone ever read the book it's based on, The Princess Bride? Because it is so different.
Yeah, Kate, Julie LaVoice brings them up. I want to see your Last Starfighter tattoo.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh, it's an amazing movie, and I really hope that sequel they're trying to make never happens.
I think I have a poster of The Last Starfighter somewhere. I don't know where it is right off. Somewhere in my nerd cave.
See, I grew up in the 90s, and it would have been, I would have been able to say it was awesome, but I was also a sheltered Christian kid, so everything was demonic.
So you listen to a lot of Striper and Petra, right? Were you a Striper and Petra person?
Petra, yes, and Newsboys.
Well, I mean, speaking as an 80s kid who was a teenager in the 90s, I found it such a depressing decade. Everyone was so emo and grunge, and it just seemed like such a divergence from the bright neon and pastels of the 80s. It's just...
I don't know, man. I was all about In Vogue and Boys to Men for a while.
Well, all my friends were into Nirvana and that sort of thing.
I liked them too. I liked Nirvana.
It Smells Like Teen Spirit. Okay, here's the thing. I cannot stand Smells Like Teen Spirit, except I found a remake of it, or not a remake. I think someone just remixed it somehow to put it in a major key.
Oh, I've heard that one, yeah.
All of a sudden, I love it to death. It's great in a major key.
Have you heard Tori Amos's cover?
I hate Tori Amos with the white hot guns. I hate Tori Amos. And actually, it's not even necessarily because of her music. It's because she's always turned sideways when she's playing the piano to face the mic. Like, can't you get a piano over the mic so you can face forward? It just drove me up the wall. Some part of me... It was like the former film student in me rebels when someone tries to center their face in the frame and there's all this dead space up here. Oh, it wigs me out for the same reason as her being sideways while she's playing. So.
How did you feel about Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails, man, with their videos?
Well, I never saw their videos. I heard their music because I was hanging out with a lot of goths. Yeah. And
oh my God, I saw them in concert. They went on a small venue tour like about a year and a half ago. It's amazing.
Well, if I'm going to point to a 90s band that I think was like the best 90s band, aside from Roxette, obviously, because a lot of their stuff came out in the 90s, it would have to be They Might Be Giants.
They're coming. They're doing a tour again, guys. They Might Be Giants is touring again. I'm so excited. And so is Cake.
May I share something? Just before I mute and go to the toy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Taylor Swift.
I think I have one Taylor Swift in my collection. One. I'll have to look.
We like different things. That's okay.
No, it's not. You should like everything I like and nothing I don't.
Well, that just sounds like lots of fanboys on the internet.
I like. Oh no, I have 2 of hers. Okay, I have The Story of Us and Dreams. There's a lot of bands where I like 1 or 2 of their songs, and the rest of it I either hate or don't care about. I have okay. if you'll indulge me, I have a story. I know Diana's heard it, but I don't think the rest of you have. Where I was in New York City with my parental units, and I was walking past a vendor stall on I don't think it was Ellis Island, if it one of the islands, maybe Staten, I don't know. And I heard this song coming from the vendor booth. I was like, huh, I'm really enjoying this. Now, I didn't have Shazam on my phone at the time, so I wrote down some of the lyrics and then went back later to where I had access to the internet and looked them up. And I was like, oh, crap. It's One Direction. No! I ended up downloading their entire discography. And it turns out that 80% of the music they make, hello phone, is absolute garbage. But that 20%, holy crap, is so good. And I was ashamed, like even now I'm admitting it only as a form of self-deprecation that I enjoy that much of One Direction, but still, oh my God.
Was it You Don't Know, She Don't Know She's Beautiful? Is it that one?
You Don't Know You're Beautiful. Yes,
Yeah,
that was
that
the
one.
song.
Yeah. No, that hits a couple boxes for me. So I completely get it. So yeah, but I'm just like only portions of the song. I'm like, yeah, no, now I feel weird.
I don't know if there's one similar to that or not, but in '77 at the end of a choir tour, we stopped in New York. Some of the kids saw Cats, and then some of us went to hear a concert at Lincoln Center. I was one of the kids who went to Lincoln Center. That was the year I discovered I liked Stravinsky. Symphony in 3 movements conducted by Leenstorff with the New York Phil. And I mean, just to be in Lincoln Center was such a thrill. Let's face it, New York Phil was, when there still was a Big Five, they were one of them. So was the Cleveland Orchestra, which was really great growing up in a town with a Big Five orchestra. But
right, that's a sporting goods store, isn't it? Kidding. Go on.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing when you talk about all the music of the '60s, the music of the '70s, stuff I was listening to, Tchaikovsky, Beethoven, Mozart. It wasn't until the early 2000s that I actually started listening to the stuff I, quotes, should have been listening to 30, 35 years earlier, that my age peers were all listening to. Now, I'm not taking anything away from it. I mean, God, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, I dearly love, that sort of thing. But it just took me a while to get into it.
Yeah, when you say Stravinsky, my brain goes somewhere completely incorrect, namely J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5.
Okay.
I am flying my nerd flag high today. Yes. I went out to the supermarket wearing a Dungeons and Dragons t-shirt and the One Ring around my neck and an X-Wing pilot hoodie and a Fallout backpack.
That is pretty cool.
Whatever it was that reminded, I couldn't tell you what reminded me of it, but how's your weather out there, Kate?
Pretty cloudy. It's very Seattle out right now, which is funny because I'm in San Diego, California, but it looks like Seattle out there right now.
Yeah, because I just a day or so ago saw a map, a weather map, and the Pacific lobe of the jet stream was dipped down to where you are, where it almost never got during a reasonable period of weather, before this whole climate change thing. And I'm wondering, very, very okay, so it's not overly cold yet, but it's still bad enough for you guys?
It's unpleasant. I mean, granted, a lot of people would say that 50 Fahrenheit is not unpleasant, but I needed a hoodie when I went out. That was required.
Okay, 50 I'll take. Oh my word. Well, it's been overly warm here. It's supposed to be, in quotes, colder than it is. And it's mid-40s right now. And
it's a wet cold is what it is.
Oh man, I went out there to take the garbage out and it was fog. the mist and everything else at the ground level. It's walking through a fog bank, and it's mid to late December.
I got y'all beat. It's pushing 70 degrees out here, and I'm in the South. And it should be like 40 degrees right now, and it's not. It was freezing last week, and it's hot this week to where I'm sweating. I'm like, I have a onesie that's jammies and a space heater and a heated blanket, and I'm like, I don't need that this week because it's hot. It's almost 70 degrees. I went and saw Star Wars today. And I'm like, well, I had on my Star Wars shirt, and then I had on, well, this isn't it. This is Harry Potter. But I had on a Star Wars shirt, and I had like my cardigan, and I had a sweater. And I'm like, gosh, and I'm like, no, it's like almost 70 degrees. So I'm like, and then they had the air conditioner on in the theater.
What scares me about this, I'm wondering what April is going to look like. How many of the bulb flowers, et cetera, are not going to be around because it's not cold enough for them to.
There might be a frost. It might be I've had it's snowed in April here before, just rain.
There's the other one where it's either snowing in April or it's going to be minus 20 in March. I've had both.
Well, I imagine that April is getting a little long in the tooth. I mean, she's been hanging out with those Ninja Turtles for how long?
I have a question for you guys. Okay, so I've seen. Okay, this is kind of jumping back to where we were talking about Cats just a minute ago. So Cats, the movie came out. I saw the theatrical version years ago in the theater, and it gave me a headache, and I'm like, I don't ever need to see this again. But there are people, the movies come out, and some friends of mine went, and they're like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then there are people who have been tweeting about it. Have you guys read any of the tweets on the Cats film? Because they are hilarious.
I haven't.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read some of these to you. Okay.
Feel free.
Because
I've been spending all my time arguing with S.J. Thomas and Psycho.
Oh, that, you could just drink and read tweets about cats.
Okay,
probably like be way more entertaining. So I'm just saying.
Cutting my hand off would be more entertaining.
Okay. So this was one that said, I saw Cats and now I can't effing sleep and I want to throw up. Another person said, my brain absolutely does not have what it takes to process Cats in any way whatsoever. I feel like my entire consciousness has been extruded through a tube and then shot into effing space. Another person said, there were about 20 people at my showing of Cats. 7 walked out. Some people were in fits of laughter by the end. It is shockingly bad. I really don't think you can understand how freaky and wrong it is until you see it. Another person said, the best part of our showing of Cats was about 2/3 of the way through when a man in the audience stood up and said, this movie is bad and I'm leaving, and walked out.
I have a similar story. I have a very similar, because I went to see Van Helsing once. And I mean, this was a bad movie. There was like maybe 13 people in the theater. And they get to that scene at the end, by the way, spoiler alert, where the dead chick's face goes off into the clouds, like her soul's going somewhere. And this guy in the front row goes, stupid! And everyone started clapping. It was such a bad movie. It's a shame because I love the director's early work, but he turned into a poor man's Michael Bay. He loves special effects now.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar story.
My biggest cinema regret is I went and saw Prince Caspian when I could have seen Iron Man.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'll share mine because when back in the day, I saw Santa Claus Conquers the Martians as a first run. The female slimy bastard took my sister and me to the theater to see that fucking film. It was, oh, man.
Well,
I knew how bad it was back then.
I have a favorite bad movie story that's actually a pretty good one. Some of my friends and I in high school, just sort of on a lark, went to the late showing of the Power Rangers movie. And we were the only ones in the theater. So we turned it into the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We were heckling this movie. We were doing cartwheels up and down the aisle. One of the ushers came in to, like, you know how they do to check the theater, saw what we were doing, but realized it was just us and we were all participating. So they were like, let them have their fun. So through the whole movie, we're just like smarting off and doing dances and stuff. It was a blast.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I almost wish I could have been there.
I have to read a few more of these just to give y'all some perspective.
Oh no, there's more.
Cats was distressingly horny, and not in a sexy voyeuristic way. More like you open a bathroom door and find people in the middle of an orgy and you slam the door because you didn't ask for this. Watching Cats is like stumbling upon an unholy and heretofore unknown genre of porn. Every time these horny fur demons tongue a milk bowl and start moaning, I was certain the FBI would raid the theater.
That Cats just looks horrific.
Well, I saw the early trailers. I hear they've revamped it somehow since people reacted to those trailers, but it didn't help much. I don't know.
They're repatching it. They're making a different version to release now because the version that's out right now is being so much pushback. They're like, wow, people really hate this film, but okay, let's try to make it better somehow and salvage some of this money.
Okay, now wait a minute.
Like in the first trailer, the Uncanny Valley was, this was the poster child for Uncanny Valley, this movie.
I'm thinking here, and could it be possible that if you find a film that bad, the only way to salvage anything is to make it worse? It's got to be one of those films that's so bad you just want to see it.
Oh my God.
I tried that with a few of the world's worst movies like Ishtar and Plan 9 from Outer Space. And these are endurance trials. Getting to the end of those movies is hard.
I did that with Twilight. The first Twilight, I went with a friend and I cried with laughter from beginning to end. I couldn't finish it. Okay, so I equated his inability to be intimate with her was due to premature ejaculation. Because I felt that was what it was a metaphor for. Okay. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't control myself. I'm like, wow. It's just like, that's what this is.
I thought it was supposed to be like an argument for abstinence or some shit, like a religious argument for abstinence.
I guess I thought he was like, having a climax in his britches. It was just like he would slam himself up against the wall. It's like, I can't control myself. You don't understand. I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is why this wouldn't work for me. This would get so old so quickly. I'll be like, honey, we can't be together. You can't perform. And this is not okay. We're not compatible in this respect at all. It's like if he's sitting there going, it's taking everything in me to not kill you right now. I'm like, that's a deal breaker. It's okay. We don't have to be together. It's all right. So to me, it was a comedy from the beginning to the end, to the point on another. I have a different YouTube channel where I put some of my different films that I've done when I was like a student filmmaker, and I mashed together scenes from Twilight to Jizz in My Pants by The Lonely Island. It's pretty funny. I like editing things. So that was something that I did once.
Well, I really did try to watch Twilight. I got as far as the part where he stopped a car with his hand or whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? This is so dippity, and turned it off.
That was a good choice.
I was in a theater with a friend of mine who read the book, and there were a bunch of emo goth kids next to us that were so into it, and I'm just like crying with laughter. And they're like, "Oh," and I was just like, "You guys, this is funny. Look at him; he can't control himself. It's just like a mess. Does she clean it up after? I don't know what's going on here." It's just like that's where But I'm an adult, so it's like.
Relatively speaking, right?
Yeah, so if I had a boyfriend that did that every single time we kissed, I'm like, dude, that's gonna get old really fast. Like, we can't be together, bro. Like, do you have a friend that's similar to you or something? Because this ain't gonna work.
Nice.
So, confession time right here. I unironically enjoy Waterworld.
Oh, I love Waterworld to death, but then I love post-apocalypse movies. So
I don't feel like it was that bad of a movie. It's just like the Godzilla movie with what's his name in it that everybody was like, "Oh, it's so shit."
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I didn't mind that.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
But I don't really listen to movie critics whatsoever because they just go into it all too seriously. It's just like, it's just a movie. Just watch it, enjoy it for what it is, and go home.
it's like they can't, like a lot of critics cannot separate art and entertainment if they need to. I don't know.
Right.
No, if we're going to talk post-apocalypse movies, though, has anyone seen Turbo Kid?
No.
Okay, it's a Canadian-made movie about like a post-apocalypse thing that happened during the 80s, and so now it's like the year 1997 or something. Everything's been destroyed, and there's this kid with a bicycle and what looks like a Nintendo Power Glove that like lets him shoot people. It's very much a parody, very much a send-up, but if you love post-apocalypse movies, you'll probably enjoy Turbo Kid. It's got a great soundtrack too, so
it looks very campy. I googled it.
it's totally campy, and it's got Michael Ironside in it too. So yay!
Yay!
That is pretty cool.
Well, if you like Michael Ironside, anyway.
Yeah.
I can enjoy campy movies as long as the actors don't seem to be taking it too seriously.
Well, okay. In Turbo Kid, there's like one actor taking it seriously, but he kind of has to, whereas everyone else is like, "Oh, this is totally tongue-in-cheek, and we know it."
Yeah, well, that should be good then. Actually, it's good if the one playing the villain takes it seriously and everyone else laughs it off.
In this case, it's the hero who takes it seriously, but everyone else is so over the top that the contrast works.
Yeah, that should be good. I'll have to check that one.
And tell them I sent you.
Yeah, talk about post-apocalyptic stuff. Has anybody here seen The Quiet Earth?
Briefly, like back in the 90s, I worked in a video store, and I'm pretty sure I tried to watch it, but I also might be mixing it up with A Boy and His Dog.
Yeah, they do have points in common, definitely. It's totally weird. Let's see if we can get this here. When everybody around him vanishes overnight, scientist Zach Hobson finds himself seemingly the only person on the planet. The isolation initially drives him to the brink of suicide, but eventually Zach adapts to day-to-day routine. After meeting two other survivors, Joanne and Oppie, a Maori, the trio roams New Zealand trying to understand what caused everyone else to disappear, why they remain behind, and whether the disaster will strike again. And it's totally, really, really weird. So weird, I actually kind of liked it.
There's one part of that I didn't understand, actually. There's a New Zealand?
Yeah, there's a New Zealand. What is the old Zealand? I forget.
It's in the Netherlands.
It is, okay. I couldn't remember where it was.
It's spelled slightly differently. It's like ZEI instead of ZEA, but that's where New Zealand came from.
Okay.
Now,
I didn't even know.
Sounds like
That's awesome.
sounds like your Quiet Earth movie is a lot like Night of the Comet. Do you remember
what
that
you
one?
have to
That one
understand-
I haven't seen that one.
What you have to understand, Kate, is that Australia doesn't exist, and New Zealand is Australia's imaginary friend.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
I know that Australia is one of those made-up places like Atlantis or Canada. So
Pretty accurate.
Well, what I dearly love is the South Island straddling the fault. So it's getting ripped in half. I'm trying to remember what the name of the fault is. We'll look it up. How do you like that? New Zealand fault.
you know, if the Earth is ever destroyed in an apocalyptic earthquake, I say we name the fault line that does it Trump, so we can say it's Trump's fault.
I like it. I like it. I like it. It definitely. Oh my word! Excuse me. Definitely works.
I'm not excusing you. You need to be louder next time. Make it really loud and proud.
That's what that toffee is doing to me. The North Island Dextral Fault Belt. It's. I see a picture of it. It's running to the east of the North Island, and then turns across the South Island right at about the midpoint. You're getting New Zealand ripped in half. That ought to be really interesting for those who come long time after us to watch the replays.
Oh God, Slipstream. I remember. Sorry, someone in the chat mentioned Slipstream. I remember that. That had like Bill Paxton and Mark Hamill in it, and it was so bad.
Those are the best films when Bill Paxton is in it, and it's terrible film. It's wonderful. Wasn't Bill Paxton in Weird Science?
He was, yeah. He was Chet, who turned into that big blobby thing.
Yes, he was such a jerk. And he was in, wasn't he in Alien as well?
Aliens, the second one.
Aliens. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was about to ask you about that, NotJah. So Dallas Wade is coming up pretty soon.
Yep, we got probably less than 3 minutes, I suppose. Dallas is supposed to be starting up. He hasn't got the event up there yet for me to link the event, but I can throw the throw his channel link in the side chat for everybody to open that up and refresh the fuck out of it until, you know, his live stream opens, because we're pretty much close to closing down. Did y'all want to do a shout out of each other? Like, did you want to do one of those endings, or just jump over to the, you know, the new stream and keep running?
Everybody watch Kate's stuff, okay? Do not ignore Kate.
Yeah, if you don't know who I am, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
Actually, along those lines, when I went to Faithless Forum, what's his face, Rationality Rules had never heard of me, and I was actually kind of, what's the opposite of flattered?
Offended.
Well, no, it was disappointing. I was like, man, I've been around for more than 12 years now. You should know me. But
it was actually you that broke my brain at Faithless Forum first, because I came down from the upper rooms and you were sitting at the table with Raz and someone else, and I just kind of walked up and I'm like, that's Raz and that's Bionic Dance, and my brain just went like, oh my god. And I sat down at the table to you guys and started playing with my phone, trying to get my brain kicked out again. And then Raz turned to me and says, are you looking for somebody? And I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for Drew. And she's like, he's probably planning things. I said, yeah, I figured. I just thought I'd come down here and sit.
Okay, 2 things. One, Kate, I keep crediting you with that. If it wasn't for you, I would have never found this community. I stumbled across it by accident from you.
Well, just doing my part. I'm flattered, though. Thank you.
Well, I was looking for 80s animation, and I found your channel, and that's what led to all of this.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of people ask me about the origin of my channel name. I keep explaining it has to do with Bionic 6, which was an 80s cartoon. But,
yeah. But Dallas Wade just sent me the link to his stream, so I just dropped that in the side chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, wow, I remember that cartoon.
Well, we're going to...
Just barely.
We're going to shut this one down and let everyone jump over to Dallas's channel. So I'm pretty sure Perps has just put it in the side chat as well, as he said. I'll just do it again just so everyone has it there. Go and check that out. It should pretty much be starting any minute now. So we're going to say goodbye. Thanks
We'll
for
see you all
joining us,
in the morning.
everyone.
Bye. See you all in the morning.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Yay.
Whatever. See you in the morning.
Have you ever imagined with your own upside-down nacho? Do you wish you could grab a long-haired Australian and drink alcohol from their body? Maybe you're more interested in sitting on your imaginary underworld apostate's face, or just stomp into the curb for writing such horrendous lines. Nachos go great with beer. Now you can and more with these fantastic overpriced items from the great range on sale in Nacho's Underworld Market. Your nachos are always best with beer. Pick up your very own upside-down pillow, throw an apostate on your stretch pants, or slap on some yowie socks and just walk all over me. Your nachos always go best with beer. So grab Australian mug, wrap your lips around it, and suck dry those glorious liquids. Everything in stock is limited because I get bored and change it up all the time, so get yours now. As always, ensure to thoroughly beer your nacho. Go to teesprings.com/store/nachos Underworld Market to grab your very own nacho now.
Who's NotJah? Who's NotJah? Who's NotJah? Who's NotJah?